All right. Testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. What is going on, people? What's up? Can you all hear me? Can you all see me? What's going on, people? What's happening? Let me know. What's up, y'all? What's up? Actually, you know what? I'll go ahead and keep that that lo-fi hip hop going in the background. Let me just bring that down a little bit. Yeah, it's gonna bring that. Actually, no, you can't really hear much. There we go. Hopefully it's not interfering with the audio too much, but you guys can always let me know. Probably gonna keep this going for a couple more minutes until we get some more peeps coming through. But what's going on, people? What's up? Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday. How have y'all freaking been? Let's check in with the comments section right quick. Let's see. All right, I'm seeing some of the homies in here. DWTV, Snorlax, Gustavo Bravo, Cold, Simply by the Way, PS Tutorials, Rescue Squad Culp, Hanason. I think that's how you pronounce it. We got Stellar34 coming through. Flame, Anthony Nguyen. What's going on, y'all? What's up? Hopefully I didn't butcher too many of y'all's names, but hey, I mean, that's the life of a streamer, man. You know, you read people's names on air and you're bound to screw up at least once or twice. Let's see. All right. So DWTV says, "Hey Neo, do you know any games that got a lower rating than it should have gotten? Also, how are you? How's everyone today? Please like the stream and subscribe to Neo." Well, appreciate that, DWTV. Let's see. We got about 25 people watching. If y'all are enjoying the stream, before we get down to business to defeat the Huns, make sure y'all hit that like button. It helps out the channel tremendously in more ways than one. Helps get us into the whole YouTube algorithm, or at least on the favorable side, so we can send this video out into the ether and bring more people into this weirdo family we call home. But to answer your question, DW, any games that got a lower rating than it should have? Honestly, there was a time when I really cared about critical reception to entertainment and things I really enjoyed. But I'm gonna be real, I don't really care too much about what score a game should have gotten versus what it actually received. Mainly because at the end of the day, it all comes down to you and your own personal enjoyment of said product. I mean, the fact that, let's just say, for example, somebody rated, let's just take Judgment. The fact that somebody rated Judgment a 6.5 out of 10 versus what I personally think the game deserves, I'm not going to lose sleep at night. So I don't really play the game of, oh my god, you guys should have rated this game a 9 out of 10 because I really enjoyed it. It's just, it is what it is at the end of the day. Like, there are some outliers of people who like for example, when somebody rates Uncharted 4 a 2 out of 10, like, obviously that's some bullshit. But those are always extreme outliers, and you're going to have them for everything. You know, whether your game is the greatest game in the world or the worst game in the world, you're going to have some people rating it, well, either a 1 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. Oh, and the homie Gustavo Bravo came through with the $5 super chat. We haven't even done the intro yet, but appreciate you, homie. What's up, Neo? We're done with April. This year is going by quickly. Happy to see you streaming. It's hot as heck out here in California. Well, thank you for the super chat, brother Gustavo Bravo. As always, man, appreciate you. And I mean, I'm doing swell, man. You know, we're here with the Friday streams. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we've been streaming Ask Neo consecutively for at least over a month. I mean, there were some periods and times where I would come through on a Monday, sometimes on a Tuesday, but I think Friday evenings have been our shtick for Ask Neo, so we might keep it as such until, I don't know, like my work schedule changes or something. But yeah, man, it's good vibes over here, man. I hope you're doing well, Gustavo Bravo, after all the stuff you were going through the past couple of weeks. And yeah, the weather's been heating up over here in New York. It's been very rainy because that's the spring season, you know. But we've had a lot of good weather. I mean, I think it was it was like either Tuesday or Wednesday. The temperature was over here like 81 degrees Fahrenheit. That's absolutely insane, man. But hey, summer is upon us. We got a few more weeks till we get to the summer season, and we're all gonna love it. And at the same time, we're gonna hate that shit because it's gonna be humid as fudge. But hey, you know, you take the good with the bad. I'd rather a really hot summer day than negative 15 degrees. That's a different beast entirely, man. But I appreciate the super chat, Gustavo. Hope you're doing well. And see, we got a few more people joining the chat right now. Nick M, Corey Gryffindor, what's going on? Sup, nerds and weebs? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Oh snap, we've got Raiden all the way from Lockdown, Canada. Colin, my boy, what's going on, Colin? What's up? What's up, Sterling? What's happening, brother? We got Sabir. Sorry if I butchered your name, brother. Mega donuts, because regular donuts just they weren't enough. We gotta go mega with that shit. I respect it, because I too love donuts as well. We got Anime Kid 100, Zach, and we got 2022. Yeah, just 2022. Well, let's see. Hold on one sec. Just let me make sure everything is out on social media before I dive into everything. Okay, everything is good to go. Cool. Alrighty. Okay. So we'll answer a few more questions before we get into the intro. Let's see. Yo, a NeoStream. I'm curious what you think about all the gaming news that just dropped, especially with Acti without Vision. I like that. And the esports gambling issue causing companies to drop We Play. Yo, it's actually kind of funny because all this stuff dropped today, and I'm not too well versed as far as the esports controversy is concerned. I've seen a couple of people like Netherrealm and I believe Capcom. No, I think it was Netherrealm and Namco Bandai. They announced that they're severing ties with We Play, and I assume it is because of that gambling issue. But I'd have to go ahead and do more research on that before I properly speak on it. But the whole Activision situation with Toys for Bob becoming a support studio, and then oh, by the way, just so I don't forget, the audio levels are good, right? The music, the lo-fi, chill hip-hop is not, like, really blaring with my audio, right? Just want to make sure, you guys. But as far as the Activision situation is concerned, I mean, it's the worst of capitalism at its finest, and I have no problem with people who want to make as much money as possible, but when you have a company like Activision that is siphoning all the creativity out of some of these studios, proven IPs that are working for them. Like, I mean, the fact that all the people showed up for the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, for the Spyro Reignited Trilogy, they showed up for the Tony Hawk Pro Skater HD compilation. Like, there's a market for these games. So it's so annoying, but it's not surprising. If you've been in the gaming industry for any amount of time, you would know about Activision and their fuckery. It's all about the least amount of money they can spend that will give them the most amount of profits, and if that means turning some of these studios into support studios for Call of Duty, because Call of Duty rakes in what, billions for this company, it just unfortunately is what it is. You just got to put the money, you got to put your money where your mouth is, towards the companies that actually matter. And at one point it did seem like Activision was learning, but hey, we're just back to business as usual, so it's not the biggest drop off, unfortunately. All right, let's see. We got Weekend at Bernie's, Bobby Shaw, Marky Kelly. There we go. What's up, people? Randy, bunch of numbers. What's going on? What's up? Alrighty. Okay, so it is 7:15 right now. We might as well just dive into at least the intro portion so we can get that out of the way. But first things first, we got a $2 super chat coming in from the homie Flame. Neo giving off that chill vibe. Hope you're well. Well, I'm doing good, brother. It's been a great week so far. Very eventful, very productive, and I've just been feeling good, man. You know, I'm just riding this wave of just like good energy that I've been putting out into the universe, and I've been getting back in different ways, and it's been quality, man. Y'all know me, I'm a simple guy, so provided that, you know, I take care of all my bills, I can sit here, relax, enjoy myself, and, you know, I'm putting in that work through like the gym and the businesses and stuff like that. It's all good. That's all I really need, man. But anyways, let's dive back into this intro. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, races, and ethnicities alike, welcome back to the channel. This is Ask Neo, your officially regular Q&A series where you guys ask me questions and I try my very best, to the best of my ability, to answer them. Now, before we dive into this Q&A, which for those who are tuning in for the very first time, what's up? What's going on? Comment down below. This is my weekly Q&A series where it's just literally chatting. You guys ask me questions, I answer them. Obviously, things don't always go according to plan because there's so many of you guys watching and y'all ask a lot of really good in-depth questions, so it takes some time to get to that. So fear not if let's say, for example, you posted a question and I haven't answered it in, I don't know, 5 minutes or so, then feel free to post it again, because I am working my way down through the comment section. Now, a little bit of housekeeping before we get into things. You guys might have noticed there have been a couple of Super Chats in there. What role do Super Chats play as far as Ask Neo is concerned? Super Chats are just a way for you guys to give back to the channel. For the longest time, I haven't really cared much about monetizing my YouTube channel. It's just been an incentive. But last year, I enabled Super Chats because people have always wanted to, I guess, donate and say, hey, thank you for making content. And I appreciate all those Super Chats. So the way that they work with Ask Neo is if you have a question that you really want to answer, or you really want answered, send it in a Super Chat, and I answer every single one of those Super Chats. And all the money you guys donate gets put back into the channel for us to do giveaways, in addition to just upgrading the setup and, you know, the whole shtick. Y'all know the vibes at this point. Some of y'all have been regulars of this for the past, well, I've been doing Ask Neo for a long time. But the fact that it's been consistent for the past year or so, I'm seeing a lot of you homies in here, which I do love. In addition to that, if you check the video description down below, you guys will see a couple of links per interest. All of my social media outlets from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of my handles are going to be over there. In addition to what's on the screen right here, it's constantly swapping through. We also have a Discord community, the Phantom Weirdos, which is on screen right now, which is just a place for you guys to congregate, come hang out, send me direct messages if you have any questions about things, in addition to just being amongst each other in the community, you know, find people to play new video games with, talk about the latest episode of whatever TV show is airing, and then just good vibes all around. And that's basically all I got to promote now, you guys. We're going to go back to business as usual, which is just scroll and blast. I'm going to look through the comment section. I'm going to answer a couple of questions, and we're just going to go from there. But before anything, the second I said Super Chat, the homie Colin comes through with a $6.99 Canadian Super Chat. Appreciate you, Colin, my boy. I finally convinced my brother to watch Avatar, and he's actually enjoying it. As a result, I agreed to read JoJo's, and it sure is interesting so far. Oh, shit. Well, first things first, Colin, thank you for your Super Chat, brother, as always. Second, I assume you're referring to Avatar: The Last Airbender, because, well, that's the only Avatar that we acknowledge around these parts. No tall-ass, lanky blue people around here. But yeah, man, Avatar: The Last Airbender, it's just one of those shows that no matter how much time passes, I can always recommend it to people, no questions asked. The strength of that show, the legs that it is able to stand on is unparalleled, man. It's a triumph of Western animation in addition to just being a really damn good show. It tackles a lot of serious subject matter, yet it presents it in a way that's not too like ham-fisted in your face for a kid. So a kid can actually sit there, watch it, appreciate it for what it is, and then also realize that they're getting all these lessons told to them. So it's fantastic, a testament to the film, well, yeah, the filmmakers in that case, because, you know, basically everything in that shit is so damn cinematic. As far as you reading JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, now that is actually funny because JoJo, like Avatar, it's one of those things I always recommend to people, but JoJo is a show and a manga that I always tell folks, go into it with an open-ass perspective, because I guarantee you, you've probably never experienced something like this before. JoJo is just so absolutely ridiculous. It's on level 10 every single damn chapter, every single episode. But at the same time, amidst all its like ridiculousness that is JoJo's and Araki's writing, it's just so amazing. Like the whole anthology, the way it's set up with different characters, yet they all kind of like mesh together because it is all one story that's going this way. And it's just, it's awesome. You know, great music. If you're watching the anime, great music, cool animation, great characters. I don't know. JoJo is just one of those things that if you feel like you've been burnt out on anime, watch JoJo, and I guarantee you are going to have a unique experience. It's just, I try not to get into spoilers because there's a lot of cool shit in JoJo. But appreciate the super chat, Colin. Appreciate it, brother. Alrighty, so let's get on back to some. Okay, so well, we got another super chat coming in from Hans. And he says, thoughts on Returnal. Also, are you hyped for Ratchet? Appreciate the super chat, Hans. I assume that's how you pronounce it. Maybe Haynes. I don't know. People got different pronunciations. But I'm going to call you Hans. So as far as Returnal is concerned, I actually just, like, not even lying, you guys, right before the stream, I was playing Returnal. I finally booted up the game. I wanted to play it last night, but I actually fell asleep right before it unlocked. Yay, it is what it is. And then I woke up at 2 a.m. to chug some water. And I was like, am I really going to sit here and start up Returnal? Nah, I'll play it the next day. So I did what I had to do for the morning because, I'm off on Fridays. And I booted up Returnal, and I was like, all right, well, I'll just put like maybe an hour into this. Let's see where it goes. Man, I put at least like 2.5 hours, bro. Returnal, I'm still in the early stages of the game, but Returnal is again another example of the games where I watched as little amount of coverage as I physically could. If it wasn't like put in my face in terms of let's just say like a PlayStation E3 or whatever, I tried to avoid it. But Returnal, just based off the last state of play, I was like, okay, I'm definitely going to get this game. I didn't realize I was going to get it day one because there was something about Returnal that, I don't know, it's scratching an itch that I never thought I would have, or an itch that I only have once every couple of years, as weird as that sounds. Because you guys know I'm not the biggest fan of the Souls genre. I appreciate and respect it for what it is, but I've only played a handful of games in it. I've played Demon Souls. I played Dark Souls 1. I'm going through Dark Souls 3 right now. I did Bloodborne. But it's never like a series where I'm just like, yeah, I just want to go and replay all these games. Like for me, it's just I play it once and then I move on to the next one. But Returnal, I just looked at it and I'm like, okay, I'm getting Souls-like vibes in the sense that there is difficulty and you really have to get good at the game to progress. But I didn't realize like how much I would be enjoying it. Like the best way I could describe it is it's kind of like Doom Eternal, but in third person. Like for those out there who maybe don't play any type of Souls games. It's definitely a game where you are going to die repeatedly. That's kind of the point of the game, but it's never too unforgiving. Like it's a challenging game where you play it and you getting better at it, the game rewards you for it. It's not as impossible as a lot of these reviews are saying, like, oh, I can't get, farther than this point and blah, blah, blah. It's literally one of those games where you just focus on playing the game. Don't focus on texting people back. Don't do this. Don't do that. Like, just focus on playing the game. Learn how to dodge. Learn how to do everything in the game, and you're going to have fun with it. At least I'm having fun with it. There are a couple of things that I think are very interesting from a design perspective. The fact that every single run is tied to the game being open, that's something that, okay, in the beginning, it's not going to be that big a deal, but if you're a person who, I don't know, plays multiple games or plays more than one game at a time, let's say you're on a really successful run where you haven't died, in order for you to switch a game, or at least switch a game and not have to worry about your progress being gimped, you have to die, right? There's no type of checkpoint system. There's no type of safe haven. There's no type of any of that. It's literally you either put the game into rest mode and continue the game with that run, or if you want to switch games, you just have to die. That's something that I can't vibe with, you know what I'm saying? And not as a person who's almost 30 years old, but as someone who likes to play multiple games. Like, imagine you were on Xbox, right? And this game didn't support quick resume because it chose not to. Not because it's an online game. It just physically chose not to. I don't know how that's going to affect the longevity of the game. I understand you want it to be challenging and you want it to be a roguelike and all that stuff. That's fine, but come on now, like no basic bare minimum checkpoint system. That's just kind of weird. But I think Housemarque is probably going to address that in some type of an update or a patch down the road. But the game itself is really fun. The gameplay is solid, very pretty looking game. The sound design, my goodness, the sound design in that game is on point, bro. Whether you're playing it with like your sound speaker system, your surround sound, or you got the PlayStation 5 headset, dude, that 3D audio is intense, as well as the DualSense integration. I probably got to do a whole video on this. I'm talking too long, but Returnal is really awesome. Appreciate the super chat. Hans. Okay, I got your pronunciation, and hopefully I didn't butcher it that time. But like I said, just keep badgering me with the correct pronunciation until I eventually get it right at some point. All right. Let's see. Hello, all people who are joining or who have been joining over the past couple of minutes. There's so many of y'all. We got Narukami, we got Carlos, we got Levin, we got 10-Ball Goat, Chargers fan for life. Let's see who else we got in here. We got Video Game Lover, we got Arcade 4247. We got Fear No Hate, Checkup, Michael Wells, and was there anybody else I missed? We got Alan V. Let's see. We got turkey. All right, so we got a good amount of people in here. Well, what's going on, you guys? How's everyone enjoying their weekend? You guys do anything interesting yet? You pick up any games? I know it's been a big week so far. We have Returnal. We had Nier Replicant come out last week. We had Judgment come out last week. We had Pokemon Snap come out today. We have Resident Evil 8 coming out next week. There's so much shit to play. It's insane. It's insane. Oh, we got a $5 super chat coming in from Gustavo Bravo. Last year, I replaced my orange bricks with the Dragon Ball Z Kai Blu-rays. Honestly, can't watch the original dub. Probably watch original DBZ sub. Oh, man. That's, first off, it's a good replacement going from the orange bricks to the DBZ Kai Blu-rays, because not only is the picture quality better just based off upgrading to Blu-ray, but yeah, the orange bricks, that remastering job that Funimation did. You know, when I first bought the sets, I didn't give a fuck because I was like 15 years old and I could buy 40 episodes of Dragon Ball Z for less than $40. That was an insanely good deal. But as time progressed and, you know, you start actually learning about animation and learning about, you know, what's a good quality transfer, I looked at those orange bricks and I was like, oh God, what the hell did they do to this thing? My goodness. But yeah, the Kai Blu-rays are pretty solid. I mean, there are a couple of things with Kai's animation that do kind of bother me, that look out of place. But that's just a commentary on the show and not necessarily the Blu-rays per se. But yeah, what you gain from Kai in terms of pacing, in terms of a better English dub that you can actually take seriously, I would much rather that over going back and rewatching the old Dragon Ball Z. I mean, I have love for the old anime. It's iconic. It's legendary for a reason. But man, when you just try to sit there and watch 300 episodes of niggas powering up for 6 episodes straight only to land one punch and then you got to go to the next episode, that filler is really, really fucking intense, man. But if I had to pick a version to watch, I would watch Dragon Ball Z. Okay, if I'm watching the Z anime, I'd watch it in Japanese. Then, if I had to pick and choose like what definitive version to watch, obviously it would be the English dub of Kai. But if I had an ideal scenario where I could just pick whatever, I would just stick with the manga. I've definitely gotten back into manga more in the past couple of years, especially with how easy it is just to read manga by comparison to sitting down and watching like a 25 episode of anime. Now, don't get it twisted. I'll always show up and watch a good anime when it's great. But I don't know, like your tastes change and manga is just so much easier to speed through. Like I went through the first season of Demon Slayer, what was adapted into the anime right before you get to the Mugen Train arc. I went through that in the manga and it just only took me a couple of hours to finish. It was absolutely insane, man. But yeah, manga is the wave in a lot of respects, and you get the original creator's vision without any type of anime intervention. Alrighty, let's see. Why do people hate full screen on DBZ and Naruto Blu-rays? Are we talking about why do they hate 4:3 versus 16:9? Well, that has to do with a lot of people who they don't like black bars on their TVs, which I understand. But again, what people don't realize is that when it comes to film, when it comes to animation, things that are a product of their time, they weren't done in that particular aspect ratio. Like 16:9 didn't really become a full-on standard for everything, like TV included, until like the past not even 15 years, if you can believe it or not. And there's a lot of reasons that go into that. But when it comes to anime, like I want it presented in its original aspect ratio. I don't care about it being in widescreen and filling up the full screen. You're cropping the image if you try to make it widescreen. So give me the black bars on the side and I'll enjoy it just like that, because that's the way the show was originally presented. And anytime they try to pervert that vision by making it widescreen, or you see that shit happen all the time on YouTube, like people will go ahead and make an anime widescreen and then it's either really weird looking or it's zoomed in so much that you're missing a lot of screen real estate, which is like, what was the point? Like, yeah, you have a full screen of Goku, of his face, but you can only see his eyes. Like, where's his hair? Where's his mouth? You know? Oh, man. Quick question. I haven't seen it yet, but is Mugen Train actually in the manga? Yes. The Mugen Train movie is I shit you not, it's just the continuation of the story. It's literally what it is. What they did with Demon Slayer is, instead of creating an original anime movie, they went ahead and just adapted parts of the manga, especially dealing with one very, very... how do I say this again? This is spoilers. One very fiery individual. And I was so surprised because anyone here who's watched anime, you know that 99.9% of anime movies based off of TV shows are just filler shit. You know, it's just there so they can make money off of the IP and strike lightning while it's hot. But the Demon Slayer movie was actually really canon, but they didn't promote it as such, which was very interesting because I don't think they're going to readapt this into the manga like they did with Dragon Ball Super, readapt it into the anime like they did with Dragon Ball Super when they retold Battle of Gods and Resurrection F. That was the stupidest thing ever. Like, yeah, they expanded on some things, but bro, you just wasted so much people's time retelling Battle of Gods and Resurrection F. Nobody needed that shit. And in some situations, they did it worse. Like, yeah, some parts were better. They expanded upon things, gave more context, but other times I'm like, yo, you just killed the whole fucking fight here, man. But yeah, definitely watch or read Demon Slayer up until you get to the Mugen Train arc, then dive into the movie. And then I assume the series, when it comes back, season 2, it's going to take place right afterwards. If they retell that movie in the anime, I'm just going to be like, what the actual fuck? But it's a different studio than Toei. Toei is not working on Demon Slayer, which is a very good thing. Yeah, but I'm trying not to get into spoilers about Mugen Train. It's a very good movie. And we got the homie Marcus Doyle Terrell coming through with a $5 super chat. Thank you, brother. I honestly hate how when we start to take interest in a woman... Oh, here we go. We're already getting into this. I love it. I honestly hate how when we start to take interest in a woman, you have to play the texting game. Also, the Dragon Ball podcast was great. When's the Q&A? Well, Marcus, as always, thank you for your continued support, brother. And as far as the Q&A is concerned, we're actually trying to set that up within the next week or so. And the homie Rob is actually going to be joining us for the Q&A. Unfortunately, Rob couldn't make it to the Q&A. He was stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic over there in Illinois for like hours on end. And he came through, I think, towards the very, very end of the podcast as we were wrapping it up. But we are going to do a second portion of it where we're going to get Rob's take on everything, in addition to doing a Q&A where we just shoot the shit with you guys and talk about Dragon Ball. We haven't set a date just yet, Marcus, considering, everybody is busy, but we are trying to get this done. We're going to, like I said, strike while the iron's hot. I don't know why I said strike while the lightning's hot. It makes no sense. It's like I'm Zenitsu and I have thunder breathing or whatever. As you guys know, I just say random ass phrases. Sometimes sensible shit comes out of my mouth. A lot of other times it's weird. But yeah, to answer your actual question, Marcus, about the whole women playing the texting game, honestly, bro, and for those who are watching for the first time who don't know really how Ask Neo goes, we talk about gaming shit, we talk about anime shit, but we also talk about real life shit. We talk about politics, we talk about the dating game, we talk about self-improvement and everything. And Marcus is great at actually asking the really good questions that I think a lot of people here probably are either too scared to ask or they just don't feel like it's applicable. But yeah, when it comes down to, you courting a woman, you talking to a woman, how important of a role does texting play in this game? Now, if you were to go onto Google and type how to text a woman, you're going to be bombarded with 40 billion different articles from dudes talking about the right way to text a girl, when to text a girl, all that garbage. And I'm just going to be real, man. When it comes down to it, if you really have to worry about your texting game when it comes to talking to a woman, and this goes vice versa, if you're a woman and you're trying to court a guy as well, you don't need to be talking to that person. I'm just being honest. The older you get, the more you realize how bullshit all of those things are. Texting lingo, texting etiquette, when to text back. She texts me back 3 hours afterwards. Do I text her back 6 hours later? The way I look at it nowadays is just you got to text back whenever the fuck you feel like texting back. So in my situation, there are some times where if a girl sends me a message and I'm on my phone, I'm going to reply to it. And then I'll just go back to my regular business. Other times, I'll see that she texts me. But if I'm busy and I don't really feel like replying or I don't have anything to say, I'll just wait until later. But that's not like a calculated move on my part in order to, somehow play this up like I'm this really busy guy. Like, no, I'm a busy guy because I'm a busy guy, not because I'm trying to make it seem like I'm a busy guy. So yeah, if you ever get into a situation where you're texting someone and you're always having to be the person to initiate everything, just cut your losses and move the fuck on. Because that woman or that man, whoever you're texting, they're going to make time for you. They are. That it is what it is. Everybody says, oh, I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do that. It takes 2 fucking seconds. Whether it's at the beginning of your day or at the end of the day, you have 2 seconds to text somebody back. That's it. So if somebody cares about you, they will text you back. Now, it doesn't have to be immediately because, we're all grown-ass adults with shit to do other than texting another person. But, yeah, it's ridiculous. It just goes down to one of those whole shit that people say you really have to worry about and spend a lot of time. Honestly, because I know you're probably going to ask more questions later, Marcus, the most amount of success I've had with women has not come from texting. It hasn't. Like in the beginning, I will text and we will talk and we'll see if the vibes are great. But then afterwards, I try to make that shit as physical as possible, as quickly as possible. And by that, I mean asking them out on a date. Period. That's it. Because the texting stuff is great in between once you've established rapport. But if you are texting them like crazy and you haven't even initiated interest, as in a date, like what the fuck are you actually doing? You having pen pals and shit? Nah, nigga. Nah. But yeah, just don't worry about that stuff when it comes to texting or worrying about blah, 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 blah. Just move on. Guys, I guarantee you there's so many other things that you could be spending your time on than worrying about a text back. You could be completing video games. You could be working on a business. You could be working out at the gym. You could be spending time with your family, your friends, your loved ones who actually do text you back. You could be literally doing anything else. I don't know, spanking the monkey or choking the clown. I don't know what you guys do in your time, but nothing about texting. Let's get physical, baby. That's right. Let's rock. Okay. $2 super chat from Gustavo Bravo. Do you recommend Returnal? Or do you mean Returnal or Returning, Gustavo Bravo? If you talk about, I assume you're talking about Returnal, bro. I would say if you like those roguelike type of games, if you love something along the lines of Doom, but in third person, where you have all of these crazy weapons and these abilities and you don't mind the gameplay loop being designed around you dying, live, die, live again, then I think you'll really enjoy Returnal. It kind of sucks that there isn't any type of demo available for it so people can get a good idea of it. And the fact that it is $70 is a steep asking price, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. I think if you like any of those type of games that I mentioned before, you might get a kick out of it. $2 super chat from Flame. Choking the Clown. Neo 2021. Oh my God. I swear, we probably have enough quotes for like a small little book of all the things that I've randomly said. Oh God. Spanking the Clown. Good Christian content. It is, Sterling. It is. This is wholesome content you can show your aunt Barbara or Genevieve or whatever. Choking the Clown sounds like some weird Pennywise fanfic. I don't know. It might be. Who knows? Who knows? Every woman/man is different. There really isn't a right time to text a woman or man. Exactly, bro. Like me, myself, and I don't really care when somebody texts me back. Like if you text me back when you got time, it's cool. Now, if we're actually talking about meeting up and going out on a date and you playing this ghosting game, that's when I take issue and offense. But if it's like regular shit like Navon here, Randy, that's one of my homies. I've known this dude for a long ass time. There are times where we're talking, right? And then we don't talk for like a week or two. And then we talk. It just is what it is because we keep in touch with each other. We check up on each other and it's not that big a deal. But let's see. Let's get back to some other questions. So Cold said, what do you think about Samurai Champloo? No spoilers. All right. So no spoilers. Again, that's kind of hard. Champloo is one of those series along with Cowboy Bebop where I really rank it high in terms of anime that people should watch. Now, when it comes down to anime, I'm very particular about what I recommend to newcomers because the medium is just so diverse and it's so vast. And there's certain things that as anime fans, as viewers of the medium, that we take for granted that a lot of other people might not be able to gel with. So I'm not really going to be the type to recommend like a lot of the really like the anime that has the tropes and the maybe the cutesy stuff, maybe a little bit of ecchi stuff, because I don't want to scare people off. But a show like Cowboy Bebop that you can take seriously, a show like Fullmetal Alchemist that you can take seriously, a show like Samurai Champloo, and in the case of Samurai Champloo, it has a really nice element to it that people can grab onto. So it's a fantastic series. It's got great music, and you guys should check it out if you want a really good anime to watch. It's so hard to answer it in a non-spoiler fashion, man. The new Shaman King anime makes you want to stick to the manga, in my opinion. Oh, catch me up to speed on this, bro, because I haven't watched the Shaman King reboot yet ever since I found out that it was only going to be 52 episodes, something like that, and they're going to cram a shit ton of volumes into 52 episodes. That's just, wow. But I was willing to give it the benefit of the doubt because some people were pointing out how, you know, the not really early chapters, but a lot of chapters in Shaman King you can breeze through relatively quickly. So if they did it in a way that's faithful, but they just sped shit up, it might work. But the way you're making it sound, it seems like they're just either speeding by shit too quick, or it's like they're skipping stuff. I really am scared to figure out which one it is. Oh boy. All right. Oh damn, y'all are blessing it tonight with the super chats. Thank you so much. On Phyllis. Hey yo, on Phyllis. Before I get into the super chats, I gotta shut this down right quick. Jay says, Neo, we know you know about the FPS boost games for next week. Okay, all right. I need to say this. What's the term they use in the media? Loud and proud for all the people out there, right? I don't have as much insider information as y'all think I do. Now, just because I got an Xbox early, and just because I know about things that Microsoft is doing, that doesn't mean I know everything. It just is what it is. I don't know what they don't tell me. So I'm not like one of those people that has all these sources in there that know stuff. Now, apparently there's going to be an FPS boost update for games next week. That's like the big rumor going around. Great. That's awesome. I'll be excited to play the games when they reveal them. But I don't know anything about those games being FPS boost added. The only FPS boost wave I knew about was the first wave when they announced it. But no, I'm not this crazy insider, you guys. I don't know more than you. I'm not holier than thou. Oh, hey, what's going on, Rhino? How you doing, brother? Oh, we have 199 super chat coming in from James Lewis. How would you rank Insomniac in PlayStation Studio stable? Ooh, great question. So Insomniac, believe it or not, Insomniac is one of the oldest studios at PlayStation. You know, the funniest thing about this company is that they were kind of like a first-party studio for the longest time, except that Sony didn't own them. They worked on nothing but PlayStation games, with the exception of like a few smaller titles here and there. There was, of course, Fuse, which was a disaster, but I think that was more EA than everything else. And then, of course, Sunset Overdrive, which was done in partnership with Microsoft, which was a fantastic game. In terms of ranking it in PlayStation Studios, honestly, I would say Insomniac is PlayStation's most valuable studio from an output standpoint. Now, you can sit here and make comparisons on what are better games put out by Naughty Dog, by Sony Santa Monica, Insomniac. But I think in terms of quality, consistency, and sheer output, Insomniac is killing it, man. Like, just look in the past couple of years, what they've been able to put out. They put out Spider-Man 2018, right? Then they put out Spider-Man Miles Morales. They've got Ratchet and Clank coming out in June, which are two heavy hitter titles for PlayStation within the first 8 months of the console being out. And of course, we know they're working on Spider-Man 2. And then you got to figure that they're working on something else as well in the background that they're going to focus on after Ratchet is done. So it's very surprising, man. I never figured that Insomniac would be on this crazy level, on this pedestal. And I'm really excited for the future. Obviously, Spider-Man 2 is one of my most anticipated games of all time. I can't wait to see their take on, you know, the Green Goblin, Venom, shit like that. But I also want to see what they do with like another new IP. I know everybody wants them to come back to Sunset Overdrive. That would be amazing for them to do that. And by all means, I would love for them to do that. But I want to see another new IP. Like, I'm always that type of person where if you put out a really awesome game, like a banger, and it's incredible, work on a new IP afterwards. Or if you have the time, work on a new IP and then a sequel to that game too. I know obviously game development's not that easy, and having multiple teams, multiple creative visions, it doesn't work out that way. But man, could you imagine if they're working on something new, or they do like a Resistance reboot? Oh god, that'd be great. Because PlayStation, correct me if I'm wrong, PlayStation doesn't really have a first-person shooter focused franchise anymore. Like, Killzone's been on ice since 2013. Yeah. I don't think PlayStation has a first-person shooter franchise right now. Shit. It's time for a Resistance reboot. There we go. But Insomniac's a fantastic studio, and I appreciate the super chat, James. All right. Oh God, man. All that. Oh God, this Shaman King stuff is really scaring me right now. So someone asked if they should play Nier Automata. I've seen this question asked multiple times. If you have Xbox Game Pass, you have no excuse but to check out Nier Automata. If you don't have Xbox Game Pass and you want a great game to play, check out Nier Automata. I can't really get into why, because that game is very cerebral, but games like Nier Automata do not come around often. There's an amazing reason why. Okay. Let's see. Have you played the Splinter Cell series, and do you think Ubisoft will release something soon? So, admittedly, I haven't played every single game in the Splinter Cell series. I've played a few here and there. The last one I played was what was it? A Splinter Cell Blacklist, I believe that's what it's titled. And I think it's a pretty cool series. You know, I don't think it ever dawned on Ubisoft that this could literally be their version of Metal Gear Solid. Yeah, they just didn't want to do anything with it. I have no idea why. But Splinter Cell's been missing from gaming for the past has been almost 10 years since we had a Splinter Cell game. Why? What out there is Ubisoft putting out that is just infinitely so much better than Splinter Cell to not make a Splinter Cell game? It's just been Assassin's Creed over and over again, and then they do different things in Assassin's Creed, and then every now and then we get a cool new IP like Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and then we have Immortal Phoenix Rising, but no Splinter Cell? No fucking Splinter Cell. Is it a creative team? Do they not know how to make this game anymore? But they have no problem putting him in all these other things, and there's, God, we're not going to get into that. But yeah, Splinter Cell is a dope series. It needs to make a comeback, and we'll see, man. We'll see. All we can do is hope and pray. That's all we can do in the gaming industry, just pray, man. Speaking of pray, we need to get another one of those. Yeah, see, I'm not the only one who thinks that it could be their own version of Metal Gear, but they're just like, nah, man, we ain't gonna do that shit. We gonna give you guys this another Assassin's Creed game this year. Okay. We have a $6.99 Canadian super chat coming in from Colin, my boy. Do you think the creators of Avatar should adapt some of the stories from the graphic novels? Netflix should seriously get on that shit instead. Man, so I have mixed feelings about there being a whole Avatar cinematic universe. For those who don't know, a few months ago, we learned that the creators of the series were coming back to tell new stories, and they're going to make themselves like a whole big studio and a universe and yada, 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 which I don't mind if it's actually good quality products, but just seeing how Korra ended up, and there's a multitude of reasons why Korra was not as good as the original series. It just all comes down to how great are these stories going to be. And adapting some stuff from the graphic novels, the comics, would be pretty cool. I would love to see those stories animated. But at the end of the day, I've already read those stories, and I'd much rather see them do new stuff. And new stuff is always a toss-up. Like, sometimes it could be really good. A lot of times it could be really bad. Like, why did you even do that? Maybe some prequel stuff, talking about the other avatars like Kyoshi. I think that'd be very interesting. But it has to be handled right, because every now and then we get a prequel to something and you think this is awesome and amazing. And it's just like, why did you mess with the lore? But we'll have to see. Netflix is always a toss-up when it comes to original content, especially when it comes to anime. They're killing it right now with Castlevania. But, you can't say the same about some of the other anime stuff that they do. So, we'll see. And we have a $10 super chat coming in from Any Gamer Reviews, but the message has been redacted. Oh, damn. I really wish I could answer that, but appreciate the super chat, Any Gamer. Thank you so much. And if you have another question, make sure you answer it below, and I'll get to it. Or just DM it to me on Twitter, bro. Okay. $5 super chat coming in from Flame. Tell David Marquez to play Nier Automata. Yes, we did. And also, how much did you say it was for a headband stream? Just asking. Okay, so what Flame is referring to is the fact that, okay, I know I'm not the only weeb here. I know there's a few of y'all in here. I'm a big anime fan, if you couldn't tell by now. And one of the things that I bought in my Naruto Zeitgeist phase was a legit headband from the Hidden Leaf Village. I actually got this from a Japanese bookstore called Kinokuniya, which if you guys live in like New York or you live in New Jersey or maybe even Connecticut, you might be familiar with the Palisades Mall. They had this little Japanese bookstore in there called Kinokuniya, which is okay, I'll just say this much. I was surprised that they put a Kinokuniya in West Nyack. I was very surprised to see that. But in this Japanese bookstore, they had a lot of import stuff, legitimate stuff, and they had this Naruto headband that I paid like, I don't know, I want to say it's like $25, which to a kid, that was a lot of fucking money. That's a lot of allowance. And so I've had this. I keep it up here on my shelf. Eventually, I think I'm going to put this on a wall at some point. And on one of the streams, I actually tied it on my head and I said, yo, guys, check this out. Flashback. And some people were like, how much money for you to do that in the entire stream? And I was like, that's funny. But some of y'all are really serious about that. I don't know how much it would cost. I don't know. We'll have to see. I feel like I've said we'll have to see for at least the last couple super chats. Okay, let's see. Thoughts on Monolith software ramping up for the next Xenoblade game? Yeah, I've actually been seeing a lot of the hiring. Well, Monolith, I think, is always hiring, especially whenever there's a new project announced. So Monolith is part a support team for Nintendo in terms of working on like Zelda, and they're also working on their own stuff like Xenoblade. So I would assume that they're staffing up for both, because it's been a few years since the last Xenoblade game came out, the last brand new Xenoblade game, which I guess you can say that was the Torna Golden Country DLC. So it's been what, like 3 years. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Xenoblade 3, like a properly titled Xenoblade 3 in the next couple of years. In the meantime, I wouldn't be opposed to them doing like a stopgap title, like bringing Xenoblade Chronicles X to the Nintendo Switch. I think that'd be really cool, especially the fact that it's more in line with how the Switch has been in recent years, and I think it will fit on the Switch much better than it did on the Wii U. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what they got going on there, because I really enjoyed Xenoblade Chronicles 2, despite its niggling annoyances. But it's, again, one of those games where I can totally understand why people love it and also why people hate it. Okay. Let's see. We got a $10 super chat coming in from Riza. Oh, I know your name. Why was I about to mispronounce it as Rizuki? Ryazaki Koizumi. There we go. I think because my RTX 2080 died and now owning a PS5, I'm thinking about going back to consoles. Going as far as to buy my Steam games on PlayStation using my PC to handle streaming. Should I? Well, you know, it's funny because every single time we get to the start of a new generation, there's a good amount of people, myself included, who, you know, towards the end of the generation, we have a gaming PC. We love the gaming PC benefits and all that stuff. But whenever a new console comes out, we buy it and we're just like, oh, this is pretty good. And I got to say, out of all the generations, this one in particular has made the most compelling case to game more on consoles than just gaming on PC. Because for the first time ever, consoles are making performance modes a standard rather than a rarity. So last generation, we had a couple of titles that gave you performance modes, gave you modes that favored resolution, but they were so few and far between. And honestly, it wasn't really that compelling. Like, there were some games out there that the performance mode was like 720p, running at like an uncapped like 60 frames, and the performance mode was like 1080p 30. But now with these new consoles, you know, they're sporting 4K, upscaled 4K, and they have beefier hardware by comparison to the last generation when they launched. We're getting games at 60 frames. You know, like Insomniac, great example for that. The new Spider-Man game, Miles Morales. You can play that game ray tracing, 30 frames per second. You can play a performance mode, 60 frames per second, checkerboarded 4K. You can play a dynamic 4K ray tracing at 60 frames per second. It's absolutely incredible. And for a lot of people out there, that was the reason why they switched from console to PC, because they wanted higher performance and better graphical fidelity. Now, obviously, having a gaming PC is going to trounce owning a console, because your graphics card, especially if you buy one of the newer ones, you're spending way more than you would on the actual console. But I gotta say, for what PlayStation and Microsoft have put out this generation for $500, heck, even $400 in PlayStation's case, because you can get the full fat PS5 for $400. You just have to give up the disc drive. That's a really, really powerful That's a powerful place to be put at. $400 for that level of performance is insane, and you can't get that on a PC. You just can't. It's impossible. So, yeah, I've honestly kind of been shifting back towards console this generation. I mean, just in general, I was never a big PC gamer. I mean, I had my phase when I did nothing but PC for a few years. But nowadays, you know, I just don't like to sit at my computer screen other than when I'm working or I'm doing stuff for YouTube, like streaming. So I'm very much so a person that sits on the couch, sits on their bed, and they play their games. And the fact that these games are running at great resolutions and with great performance, I don't mind sacrificing some visual fidelity and some bells and whistles to get a game that just runs great. And with these SSDs, loads just like that. I mean, the Series X, bro, like, fuck. Quick resuming all those games, going from one to another, that's beautiful. That's money. All in a $500 box. So, yeah, I would say, honestly, see where you game most. But I would not get rid of the PC. I would say hold on to your PC and maybe get yourself a decent graphics card down the way. Because if you want to use your PC for streaming, you got to have good tech inside it. Especially if you want to make it a more consistent thing long term. But yeah, bro, I'm exactly the same. I game 99% of the time on my consoles. And then I go on to PC whenever I'm doing a stream, or if I'm playing a game that just isn't on consoles, or it's just much better on PC in terms of community, you know? Like if I'm playing a game that's like a big community game, such as Among Us, right? I'd much rather play that on my PC versus playing it on PlayStation or Xbox, just because we can get everybody in a Discord server and everybody can mute themselves and we can go from there. Okay. Damn, you guys are killing it tonight. My lord. Appreciate y'all. I've had the Sunset Overdrive OST stuck in my head for 3 years now. Oh, it's pretty catchy. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. Okay. $4.99 super chat coming in from John McKinney. Who would win in a fight? Sasuke Uchiha or Seto Kaiba? I would say Seto Kaiba. Not because he's more powerful than Sasuke. Seto Kaiba is the most pettiest ass nigga I've ever seen in anime. This dude, do you guys, for those who don't watch Yu-Gi-Oh, Seto Kaiba, this man was ready to throw himself off of a damn castle because he was about to lose a duel, a children's card game. This man was ready to throw himself and commit suicide because he didn't want to face defeat. Now, I know what y'all about to say. Well, he was fighting for his brother's soul. That's why he did that. Really? Then why the heck did he have to shit talk Yugi all the way through and after the fact? Because Yugi has a heart. Why? Why did he have to do that? Seto Kaiba would win because he'd find a way to abuse the rules and do some fuck shit. I have a feeling. It's going to be Kaiba. I have a feeling. All right, $10 super chat coming in from Annie Gamer Reviews. Okay, so here's the question. There we go. Hey, Neo, how are you today? Sorry for not commenting in the last few streams. I'm currently recovering from a gallbladder attack, so this is the first stream I've caught in a while. Well, Annie Gamer, thank you for your support, brother. And shit, man, I'm sorry to hear that. Jesus Christ. Well, rest easy, man. Take that shit day by day. I know that shit's not easy to deal with. I've had a couple of friends who've had health complications. So yeah, man, just rest up, man. When you do start getting some energy, you channel that into something you love, whether it's like playing video games or watching some more anime. But yeah, man, rest up, bro. Rest up. Good to see you here in the comment section. Okay. Adam E, $5 super chat. No questions, just been a fan since 2010. Keep on keeping on. Appreciate you, homie. That's 11 years. That's 11 years of support right there. Fuck. We're getting old, you guys. But you know what? We gonna keep doing this shit till we like 85 in the nursing home or whatever. We ain't even gonna be in a nursing home. They're gonna shut us down if we try to stream in that bitch. All right. Oh, and the Andy Gamer came back with another $5 super chat. On the upside, I've gotten to see some movies I've never watched before, like some of the Bourne movies and the last half of Lord of the Rings. Yo. So them Bourne movies are actually kind of decent. I'm not gonna lie, like they've managed to keep the quality somewhat watchable. I mean, the last couple ones weren't the greatest, but Bourne is like a nice little solid action flick. Lord of the Rings, on the other hand, yo, that's just peak cinema right there. That's my favorite trilogy. Every single year I rewatch it, the extended edition, so that's like a good 12, 13 hours out of my life, but I just love it, man. I love it. Just the build up, the payoff, the finale. So good, man. Tolkien's incredible. Okay, so now we are caught up on Super Chat. So I'm going to go back to scrolling and blasting. Thank you guys so much for the Super Chat, you guys. Thank you. Okay. Have you seen the Lost Soul Aside gameplay? Yeah, I did skim through that gameplay. It's looking pretty good, I'm not going to lie. It definitely does need some more time and polish, which I think is like the last thing that they would be working on. Because it looks like a really dope action game, but I don't... how do I say this? It's like it's missing the essence and the soul. No pun intended, lost soul. But like when you play Devil May Cry, you know, everything is on level 10. The music is on point, the sound effects, it's awesome. When I'm watching Lost Soul Aside, it looks pretty. I think it's going to play fun, but where's that punch? Where's that which I assume it's going to be there once the game finishes up. But it's looking pretty solid, man, I'm not going to lie. Fun fact, I actually did play Lost Soul Aside a few years ago. Back at PlayStation Experience 2017, they had a demo for the game up there. And it was pretty dope, man. I was so surprised, like, because I think at that time, that was still the work of one person. And then he got funding, and he has a whole team of people now. Okay. They can't figure out how to monetize Splinter Cell. That's why they haven't made a new game. Yeah, that's probably what it is. They might try to pull a... I think it was Square Enix. They tried to put like time savers in the last Deus Ex game, effectively killing Deus Ex. Let's see. What do you think about IO Interactive's Project Dragon? So yeah, that's another rumor that's been floating around. Jess Corden has been teasing it for a while about IO Interactive working on an Xbox exclusive or Xbox ecosystem exclusive game. Set in like a medieval fantasy setting, and dragons are involved. Which, I mean, if this game ends up being legit, that's awesome. And that's what really excites me and interests me about IO Interactive, because, you know, they've worked on the Hitman series. So for them to switch genres entirely, that is what excites me. You know, like when I found out that Playground Games was working on Fable, that was interesting, because it's a different project for them versus Forza Horizon. When I found out that Guerrilla Games was working on Horizon, no pun intended, working on Horizon, that excited me because they're working on different IPs. So yeah, I'm going to keep my eye out on this one. It's crazy though, because Xbox is becoming the home for RPGs, guys. This is insane. Like, not only do they have Obsidian, but they have Bethesda. You know, they have this Project Dragon coming in, and then of course they have Starfield and all the other stuff. It's insane, guys. Like, I don't. In Exile on top of that, like, Xbox is getting all the crazy Western RPGs. I love to see it. I love to see it, because you guys know me. I'm an RPG slut. No Veda this year. Yeah, no Veda this year, Casper. I mean, I've only ever done Veda once, and that was in 2015. I was actually thinking about doing Veda this year, but honestly, I don't know. Like, my life is not that interesting to the point where I would have enough content to vlog every day, because my life is very, very formulaic. You know, like when I'm not waking up and going to work, I'm usually at home working on stuff for YouTube or playing games, or I'm hanging out with my friends or family, or going to the gym, or just going out and about. Like, I mean, it sounds like a lot, but it's really not. It's kind of like the same thing for the most part, which when you start getting older, you guys, and you get set in your ways, that's basically what it is. I have not checked out your videos yet, DWTV. I definitely will afterwards. What are your thoughts on the new Battlefield? Are you looking forward to it? Yeah, it's been some time since we had a legitimately good Battlefield, and the way it's been ramping up, I think we're due for a really good one, especially a Battlefield in the modern age where you not only have competitive multiplayer, but you also have Battle Royale. That's going to be interesting to see how EA handles that with Battlefield, because, you know, they already have Apex Legends, but, you know, different games, different genres, different people. So we'll see. So the latest Kingdom Hearts Union Cross story update was literally cutscenes and gameplay, and kind of left me wanting more. Wait, cutscenes and no gameplay? Hey, Corey Gryffindor, you the homie, bro, but this your franchise. This your franchise, though. You gotta love those cutscenes. You gotta love them, bro. No gameplay? They said, man, just put that cutscene up and we out of here. Oh, Kingdom Hearts. What have you become? Have you checked out Invincible yet? So I've seen the first few episodes of Invincible. I am not caught up to the season finale. And it's something I definitely got to do because it just got renewed for a season 2 and a season 3. So that's exciting. It's always exciting when a good show gets season renewals. On Xbox, if you delete a physical copy of a game, do you keep your save data? Yeah, I would assume so. And if not, everything is synced to the cloud with Xbox. Like, there are times where I just delete games and then, oh, my save data, it's up in the cloud. Xbox is really good about that cloud technology. No, don't come in here, Kaiba Defense Force. Don't come in here, Kaiba Defense Force. Stop it. Neo, for the next Dragon Ball stream, are you going to talk about the 2 new arcs? I'm gonna let Danny comment on that because he keeps up with the Dragon Ball manga stuff more than I do. Because I don't read the Dragon Ball Super manga. I barely watch the Super anime as is. Was not the biggest fan of Super. I liked aspects of it, but yeah. Any Battle Network fans? Oh, there should always be Battle Network fans in the stream. Always. Shout out to Mega Man. I just want a Bad Company 3, to be honest. Shit, who you telling, bro? Bad Company 2 is like, it might go down as like my all-time favorite Battlefield game. It goes back and forth between that and Bad Company. No, that and I loved 1942. I loved it. Was it 1943? It was the one that you had on the PS3 and the 360. The downloadable one. That shit was fun. Hey, what's up, B. Reed? How you doing? Well, the thing about EA with Jedi Fallen Order is that was all Respawn. Like, Respawn... Respawn was just like, yo, listen, we got to get this game right. Please don't fuck with us. And then Respawn got a lot of clout with Apex Legends. And now they're at the point where EA, I think, is just providing funding and support. Like, they don't want to... If EA finds a way to fuck up Respawn, I think people are just collectively done. And that's the thing. I don't like saying this, but BioWare is not the same BioWare that people thought they were. The BioWare that gave you games like... First off, not even counting old school BioWare, but the BioWare that gave you modern games like Dragon Age Origins, Mass Effect Trilogy, that BioWare is not there. A lot of people have left. So I know a lot of people are excited about the new Dragon Age and the new Mass Effect. I'm not saying that they don't have the potential to be great, but just it's a different company, completely different company. I would love to be proven wrong. I would, because I just want to see good games in the industry, good RPGs. But just the way that BioWare has been managed, not even EA. I don't think the entirety of the blame is all on EA in that respect, because I think it does come down to the madness that is the BioWare rotating staff. $4.99 super chat from John McKinney. If Norman Osborn is introduced into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, who should play him? Well, Marvel is really good at casting people who you might not have expected on the first time, and they end up crushing their roles. So whatever we expect as far as casting, Marvel's probably going to go in the opposite direction. But they have gotten a lot more clout in the MCU with a lot of their actors. Like looking at the cast for the Eternals movie, and just the fact that they got like what's her name? Fucking Julia Louise-Dreyfus from Seinfeld and Veep in Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like, they're getting a lot of big names in the MCU again, which is because the MCU has gotten to become such a juggernaut that all these actors, it's just like, yeah, fuck it, I'll do it, you know? As opposed to before, they were just like, oh no, I would never do that. But some people that I would love to play Norman Osborn. Okay, so I'm just gonna get this out there because I think this is everyone's top pick. But I would love for Giancarlo Esposito, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, to play Norman Osborn. Now, I know that's typecasting him because he was the big bad in Breaking Bad, and he was Moff Gideon in The Mandalorian. But one thing I love about Giancarlo is the fact that he can, and this is what you really need with a person like Norman Osborn, inspiring so much fear with so little. Norman Osborn is not, contrary to what the Sam Raimi version led you to believe, Norman Osborn is not this like mustache twirling, you and me will rule this city Spider-Man. He's not that at all. Norman Osborn is this very calm, collected, calculating individual. And you need someone who is able to not only play a person who just has the gravitas of a Norman Osborn in terms of like the public sphere, like, oh, this is Norman Osborn, yay, but someone who can just play that like evil side to it. And then it leaves you questioning, okay, which is Norman Osborn the good guy? Which is Norman Osborn the bad guy? Which is the Goblin? You need an actor who can do all that stuff, multifaceted. But I would really like for him to take a stab at that. It is typecasting, I know, but I think he'd do a great job. Funny enough, a few years ago, I actually wanted, as weird as this sounds, Matthew McConaughey to play Norman Osborn. And that just is solely due to the fact that looking at Matthew McConaughey, yeah, he's just all right. But there's just something about him where if you look at him and he just starts talking, he can say a lot of fucked up stuff and still have a smile on his face. Like, I think he'd be a killer Norman Osborn. Other names that have been thrown around. Let me think. What's his name? The guy from Harry Potter. Everyone was talking about him for Jason Isaacs. I mean, he's played a lot of roles that are kind of similar in that respect to Norman Osborn, so I could see him doing that. But yeah, if I had to pick one, I would definitely say Giancarlo Esposito. Alrighty. Oh wow, and John McKinney said my choice for Norman Osborn is Jason Isaacs. There we go. Appreciate the super chat, bro. And then we got Levin Loriano coming in with a $5 super chat. Hey Neo, I'm very hyped because I'm going to go to a Knicks game next month. Let's go Knicks. Oh, yay for the Knicks. I'm gonna keep my ass shut before this whole state of New York comes down on me. Yeah, not the biggest fan of the New York sports teams. Unfortunately, a lot of them are sorry, and I try to be fans. I follow them all the time. I watch the games. They just always fucking disappoint me. Whether it's the Knicks, the Nets, sorry, bro. The Jets, sorry, bro. But I hope you have fun, Levin. It's always, even if it's not great, like the team, it's always fun to go to a game. It's always fun, especially because we haven't gone to games in a really long time. It'll be good. So I'm happy for you, bro. Have fun. Let's see. They're going to cast Jaden Smith to play Miles Morales. Oh, God. Please don't. Please don't. It's the last thing the world needs. I wonder if Neo will be playing GT at the Olympics. Oh, no. I cannot qualify for that. As long as Norman is not connected to Tony, we're good. Bro. If they do another Spider-Man movie and someone is related to Tony Stark, I am going to fucking lose it. Because, okay, it was fine in the first one. It was fine in Homecoming. It made sense. It created a nice dynamic. Mysterio, Jake Gyllenhaal killed it as Mysterio. It was amazing. But, come on, tying it back to Tony Stark because he was a disgruntled ex-employee. That's like one of the things I just did not like about Far From Home. It's the same problem I have with Star Wars. For the longest time, Star Wars has always shrunk the universe. They had to relate everything back to the Skywalker saga. Callbacks, references, where the world is set. Music. It doesn't need to be like that. Sometimes we just need a piece of media and fiction that is part of a universe that doesn't have to relate to that universe 100%. And we got that a lot in Spider-Man Far From Home. I mean, we got the opposite of that. We got what you shouldn't do. And it was just like, bro, come the fuck on. Like, you might as well have made Peter Parker Tony's son at this point. Like, fuck, maybe he did bang Aunt May and then both of them forgot it was a one-night drunken encounter. I don't know how that would create Peter Parker. No, that actually wouldn't. So maybe he banged Peter's mom and still banged Aunt May. Because, hey, Tony was reckless back in them days. Craven's pissed at Spider-Man because Tony cut him off in traffic. Oh no, Craven is pissed at Tony Stark because Tony Stark's AI fucking infected everything and all the GPSs and made this nigga take a wrong turn and now he was 5 minutes late to work. I hate Tony Stark. Oh god, man. Oh god, man. I hated that shit. Okay, let's see. Alrighty. Appreciate the mods. Shout out to NKDN and Dimwit Monkey. Appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's true, Maddie. The Bioware we knew is all but gone. We got to set our expectations for what they do next. And that's the thing. I don't say that to rain on people's parade. I just want people to just know that the Bioware that gave you Mass Effect Andromeda is still the Bioware of today. That gave you Anthem. It is what it is. Jedi Fallen Order is getting a PlayStation 5 Xbox Series version. Free upgrade for those who have bought the game. Yeah, so here's something for those who don't know. If you are one of the few people who have not played Jedi Fallen Order yet, there is going to be a next-gen update this summer. Now, how is that different from that next-gen update they dropped a few months ago? Well, that update that they gave was more of a patch than anything else, where they went and they increased the frame rate, they cleaned up a few things. I think they bumped the resolution a little bit on the Xbox, but it's not a full next-gen patch. Like, I think the PS5 version is still backwards compatible PS4 version, so it doesn't run at any higher resolution. So this is going to be a full-on next-gen patch, which I assume is going to bring it closer to the PC version. Of course, give you that stable 60 frames, in addition to cleaning up like the load times, because the load times are still pretty bad on Jedi Fallen Order. So I'm excited to see what they do with this one, because it's a great game. Hey, what's going on, Kramer? How you doing? Starfire or Raven? Both. There we go. Just caught COVID, but playing PlayStation 5 and listening to you sure helps. Thanks a lot, man. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear about that, Turkey. Well, again, like I told the homeboy earlier, rest up, man. You know, take it one day at a time, bro. And just use this as an opportunity to catch up on some stuff, man. Play a lot of games, watch a lot of shows, listen to some podcasts. Appreciate it. Are you into virtual reality? I'm going to be honest, young troop, I'm not. I don't pretend to be. I mean, I've tried out VR a few times. Like, every time I go to a convention, I try out the VR stuff there. I've done PSVR, I've done Oculus, and they're cool. But for me, until they get to a point where VR is as easy to put on my head as my glasses are, I don't think I'm ever going to get invested in VR, because it's just such a cumbersome experience. Like, every time I play VR, I always feel like my glasses are being, you know, like pushed into my face, or like some type of constriction. And I don't know if that's changed with newer VR models, but that's always been a major point of contention for me as to why I don't game on VR. In addition to the fact that there aren't a lot of games worthy of dropping a couple $100s on a VR headset. Yeah, you have a couple of nice experiences here and there, and it's cool to fool around with, but it'd probably just be sitting in my closet like a lot of my other peripherals, you know, like the Wiimotes, the PlayStation Move. I don't have a Kinect, so I can't say I have that, but if I did, it would be in that closet as well. And VR, I'm probably going to get a lot more use out of VR, just because it's way more immersive than all of those other units. But I don't know, man. Until they get to the point where VR is just as simple as doing this, I don't know, man. It's not for me. But I have been tempted to buy that Oculus Quest 2 just because it's at such a really nice price, man. It's like, what, like under $300? It's pretty good. I think if it was ever on sale, I'll probably use like one of the gift cards I have and see if I can get it. If I can get it under $200, I'll probably buy it. You pay $300 for VR for $5 quality games. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, what's the most prestigious VR game that they have now? Like Half-Life Alyx. And then there's some smaller stuff here and there. Like, what was it? Beat Saber. But I'm not going to drop $300 for Beat Saber, you know? Next week on the 7th, we're finally getting some new information on Final Fantasy VII. How do you feel about that? Well, I didn't even know we were getting new information next week. I knew we were going to be hearing something, considering it's been a year since they dropped the remake. They're about to launch Intergrade. They've got to say something soon. But yeah, I'm excited about that. Hopefully we do get an announcement for the next installments. Maybe get a trailer. I would love to see the game go on multiple platforms. Like, I think PlayStation is still going to hanker down and get the exclusivity for a year, but I think it'd be really dope if the first part, the 7 remake, came to Xbox and PC, especially PC. Having an SSD with that game, oh boy. But I mean, they are fixing that with the Intergrade PS5 port. They need to patch in fast travel to your ship in Fallen Order, and I got lost on the snow planet weeks ago. Yeah, there's definitely a laundry list of things that they can either fix with this patch, or they can fix with the inevitable sequel, because you know it's coming. That game did incredibly good. This news just dropped before you started the stream, but Konami dropped out of E3, claiming they don't have enough news to show, so there'll be slow dripping news throughout the years. Thoughts? I mean, if you don't got shit to show, then don't show up at E3. I'm just gonna be real. Like, there were times where Nintendo would show up at E3 and they didn't have shit to show. Like, I remember the year before Breath of the Wild was coming out, they only had one playable game, and everything else was just like small filler shit for the 3DS. So, yeah, Konami, their output has never been stellar. It hasn't been stellar in a long-ass time because they have different priorities. But, yeah, I mean, what else would they slow drip outside of, like, collections? Which are cool. But, like, the games people really want to hear about, like Silent Hill remake, another Metal Gear game, maybe that Metal Gear remake. All right, we got a $6.99 Canadian super chat coming in from Colin, my boy. Do you think that the Raimi trilogy contributed anything good to the Spider-Man name? I know you're not the biggest fan of those films. So, I mean, everybody knows I'm not the biggest fan of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. Just being a Spider-Man fan, I have a problem with all three incarnations of the Spider-Man. Like the Spider-Man that we've seen on film. You know, like, but the older I get, I have appreciation for all three of them. Tobey, Andrew, Tom. Because, you know, I'm a big Spider-Man fan. So while I can be critical about the Raimi trilogy and how they really changed a lot of characters and certain things just don't age well, I got a lot of love and respect for them. And the Raimi movies were really kicked off. And I'm talking legitimately kicked off this big superhero boom of the early 2000s. Like, yeah, you had Blade and X-Men do decent, but that first Spider-Man movie almost made $1 billion. I think people forget about that. And it influenced a lot of things. Like, had those movies not been a success, we wouldn't have gotten a lot of other movies in the genre. And we probably wouldn't have the Marvel Cinematic Universe as it is, because if those movies didn't come out, like those other movies that came off of the Spider-Man success, we wouldn't have gotten Kevin Feige into the industry where he worked at. People don't know this about Kevin Feige, but he actually worked on a lot of those mid-tier Marvel movies in the early to mid 2000s as a producer. You know, in some situations he was running around getting coffee for people and being the comic book guy to refer to. And we're going to throw out all your notes because we don't care, because we are Hollywood and we know better than the comics. But yeah, you know, it's one of those things, like, did it contribute anything great? I mean, it's still talked about to this day. Part of it is nostalgia, of course, but other part of it is it did a lot of cool things like that. Like, I can separate my Spider-Man brain and my Spider-Man fanboy-isms and watch the Raimi trilogy and enjoy the first and the second movie. Third one, not so much. I don't like this whole, you know, Spider-Man 3 was actually not that bad of a movie. Like, people got to stop. I hate when people do that shit. I hate it. I hated it when it happened with Final Fantasy 12, because everybody hated Final Fantasy 12 when it came out, and now people are like, you know what, Final Fantasy 12 is actually a great game. And it had nothing to do with them fixing the things people had problems with. Like, no, they came out here and said, no, it's actually a great game you guys hated on back then. Like, motherfucker, you hated on it back then. Like, oh, yeah. But appreciate the super chat, Colin. Thank you. And then Levin's coming through with the $5 super chat. Hey, Neo, what do you make of NetherRealm Studios working on a Marvel fighting game? So Ed Boon, if you follow him, he's always talked about how much he loves Marvel and how he would love to do this kind of game. Honestly, if this does actually happen, I'm all for it, because while people may not like NetherRealm's fighting games in terms of the combat versus stuff that comes from the East, you can't deny that they are able to efficiently run properties as a fighting game versus Capcom, who's just been fucked. Like, the amount of years it took them to work on Street Fighter V, it took them years to get that game to a great level. So I'm gonna be honest, Capcom is a different Capcom now that Ono is gone and they've got better management. But I can see why Marvel wouldn't want to go back after the disaster that was Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. So if they want to give it to NetherRealms to work on a fighting game, I think that'd be really dope. And it just goes to what I was talking about before, where you got to pair the best developer with the best IP. And NetherRealms knows how to make fighting games. You can argue the quality of Injustice and Mortal Kombat versus something like Street Fighter or Guilty Gear or BlazBlue, Tekken. But at the end of the day, they know how to work on franchises with the DC characters, with movie characters, with a whole bunch of other random characters like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I think giving them Marvel will be pretty good. I mean, what's the alternative? Like, who else could they realistically give the Marvel name to and make a fighting game? I would love for them to give it to Arc System Works, but Arc System Works is working on fighters, and they have way too much stuff under their, like, on the table right now. Capcom is just, no, we're not doing that again. And the thing is, you don't even have to make it Marvel versus Capcom. You can make it like one of those X-Men fighting games, man. There was a time where you had a lot of Marvel fighting games for Capcom that weren't Marvel versus Capcom. Tekken Cross Street Fighter is on its way, Corey Gryffindor. They're working on it. They're working on it. They just did an update like, what was it, 10 years ago that they said they're working on it. Oh god, that game is never coming out. Tekken Cross Street Fighter. Titanfall 2 tomorrow. Time to get back into the game for a week probably. You planning on joining the revolution? Yes. So Titanfall 2, for those who do not know, it is a movement starting tomorrow. Everybody's going to get online and play Titanfall 2. Whether you're playing the multiplayer or you're playing the campaign, we are all playing Titanfall 2 tomorrow. That is everybody. It is co-sponsored by Respawn. It's co-sponsored by Xbox. We are all playing Titanfall 2 tomorrow. It does not fucking matter. I'm so hyped, man. I'm about to be on the Series X. Yo, if you're on Xbox tomorrow, afternoon. Afternoon. And you guys want to play Titanfall multiplayer, like, y'all add me on Xbox. We're going to play that shit together. Because Titanfall 2 is one of the best games ever made. So good. The monetization on Mortal Kombat 11 is so disgusting. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That's kind of the reason why I don't really delve too much into a lot of the games that everybody be hyping up. Because there's always some type of monetization practice that interferes with the gameplay and the mechanics and yada yada yada. And yeah, if you get down to the bare bones of it, you can still play it as a regular fighting game. But I don't know, it's just a dangerous precedent that this has gotten to the point where it's infecting the fighting games, you know? Happy you made a pit stop, Mr. Pack. Oh, Mr. Pack made a pit stop. Hey, Mr. Pack, it's Daniel Pack. What's going on, bro? What's up, guys? Working right now, so I can't stay. Just stopping by to remind y'all to like the stream. Oh, shout out to Daniel Pack. Always coming through. If you guys are enjoying the stream, make sure y'all hit that like button, or else Daniel Pack is going to come find you. He's literally going to leave work and come find you. I don't make the rules. It's his world. We just living in it. Is what it is. All right. Let's see. If you had to pick one to play, would you rather play Final Fantasy 13 or Final Fantasy 15? Final Fantasy 15. I would definitely play 15 because you could get through that game a hell of a lot quicker versus Final Fantasy 13, and it's at least more interesting than Final Fantasy 13. Like, yeah, you could argue that Final Fantasy 13 was a better made game. There was a beginning, middle, and end versus 15, which was just, where's the beginning? Where's the middle? Oh, the game is wrapping up now. Like, that story is just like, there isn't a story in 15. They cut so much content. But yeah, I would definitely pick 15 because at the very least, I like the characters in 15 a lot more, even though they don't have a lot of screen time or a lot of notable screen time. Yeah, I would definitely pick 15. The one thing I hate about Spider-Man is Marvel's constant need to not let him grow up. It's pretty much one of the main reasons why I'm not a big fan of MCU Spider-Man. Yeah, that's been my biggest complaint with Spider-Man comics for the past 10 years. It's just every single time they let Peter Parker be, I don't know, an adult, they just retroactively de-age him, you know? Or they make him act like a freaking teenager again. It's like, why can't this... Peter Parker, like, there's a reason Spider-Man is Marvel's most popular character, because he is the most relatable character. Everybody around the world, whether you are here, India, Africa, does not matter. People relate to Spider-Man. People know who Spider-Man is. So Marvel is kind of like, oh, well, we can make him really popular with the really young kids, so let's always keep him in, like, high school, and that'll be fun. Who cares about this adult stuff? Kids aren't going to relate to that, and it's just so fucking dumb, because who do you think the kids, when they grow up, with Spider-Man, who do you think they're still going to relate to as they get older? Spider-Man. And, you know, being a writer, wouldn't you think, maybe we should actually age the character, and instead of just giving him all these stories when he's like a teenager, let's give him more adult stories where it can show shit that you deal with as an adult. And some writers have done that. There have been periods and stints where they have done that. But Marvel, at least the editors at the time, they were just so hell-bent on not giving Peter Parker happiness. Like, Peter Parker cannot be happy at all. He can't have a stable relationship. He can't have a marriage. He can't have a family. He can't have children. We have to keep this the same single dude struggling to pay his bills, working at the Daily Bugle, yada, yada, yada. It's terrible. It was so terrible. There was a period of time where I just didn't even read Spider-Man comics because it's like, why do you keep fucking doing this? Thankfully, it's gotten better. It's gotten better in the past couple of years since Nick Spencer has been on Spider-Man, Dan Slott has been off Spider-Man, and we're getting better Spider-Man stories, which is what I'm glad to see. Now, the movies are kind of taking a different approach where, at least with the MCU, they're going for, it's two things. So number one, they want to build up this Spider-Man. They want to have longevity with the Spider-Man. So they're starting out young, which is not a bad idea. They also want to differentiate it from what came before. Both Tobey and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man were adults by the time they were in their last movies. I believe Tobey's was a little bit older than Andrew's Spider-Man, because, Andrew Spider-Man only got one sequel. So he was, I want to say, maybe like 19, and then Tobey was definitely in his 20s as far as like the character is concerned. So they wanted to make this like a whole, like, you can definitely tell this is different. And it worked well for the first couple of years, but now it's kind of like, damn, we're in the third Spider-Man movie, and I don't even think this Peter Parker is graduating yet. Fuck. Because that means it's literally, we're playing the long game where it's going to take so long for him to get to all these other stories, which I don't mind if it's built up. But, man, it's like, wow, we've had this new Peter Parker for 5 years, and this dude's still, what, in fucking 10th grade? Oh, man. And it's so weird because all the best Spider-Man stories that people always reference happened when Peter Parker was in college or out of college. This whole let's make him a teen thing and have all his stories there, that didn't really come into play until the Ultimate Spider-Man comic run in the early 2000s, and then with all the other cartoons that followed. Okay. Oh, see, we just went into a whole Spider-Man talk. Let's see. You excited for Tales of Arise? I've only played Berseria, Zestiria, and Abyss, so I'm not a huge Tales fan, but it looks super different from the previous stuff. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Tales, as you guys know. I love the Tales series. And it's been a while since we've had a new one. Berseria came out 2017, so by the time this comes out, it'll be almost 5 years. I think 5 years, because Berseria came out, I want to say, end of 2016 in Japan. So yeah, about 5 years. That's the longest Tales have gone without a new entry. And yeah, it's just looking pretty solid, very different from previous entries, but I think it's done in a good way. The series had been becoming very, I don't want to say stale, but you can definitely tell they needed a breath of fresh air, because when you go from something like Tales of Vesperia, the game, it's like the series itself has not really like, okay, you can look at what they did with the Exilia games, what they did with Zestiria and Berseria, and all those games in terms of scale and scope, they're not that much better than one another. It's just a little bit more open in this one. This one has better combat, but they still, I'm gonna be honest, they are PS3 games because they were made with the PS3 in mind. So Tales of Arise is not only the first Tales game made with the PS4 and Xbox One in mind, but also the new systems, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series. So they can obviously do a lot more stuff, which, as we've seen, it definitely seems like they're taking advantage of it. But, we'll have to wait and see as far as the quality is concerned, because we were all excited about Tales of Zestiria, and I don't know your personal opinion on that, but I did not like it. That was actually one of the few Tales games I dropped halfway through, because nothing about that game was compelling me to continue playing. Which even some of the weaker Tales games, I saw it through to the end. But Tales of Zestiria was the first Tales game that I actually played as an adult with responsibilities and limited time to play games. And it just was not hitting after I invested 35 hours. So I was like, yeah, no, I'm done. This is just not a good game for me. Some people might love it and it might be a great game for them. But for me, no. Okay. Let's see. Oh, we got a $20 super chat coming in from Gustavo Bravo. Have you ever had a near-death experience? When I was younger, I was hugging my cousin's pit bull when I assume the dog thought I had the wrong... Okay, you were hugging your cousin's pit bull and the dog thought you had the wrong intentions and almost mauled your face. Lucky I put my left arm to protect myself. Oof, that's crazy. Yeah, that's the thing about dogs. I always tell people, obviously dogs are taught to be killers for the most part, but at the end of the day, that doesn't mean that you can't, like, you also have to know your boundaries when it comes to wild animals. And even some of the cutest dogs that I've seen, small little teacup dogs, can be aggressive and bite people. Now, obviously, a bite from a teacup poodle is not going to do anything by comparison to a full-grown, like, pit bull or something. But yeah, it just always comes down to being safe around dogs and, you know, approaching them as creatures, not like, oh my God, let me pet him, you know, because he doesn't know you. That's not your purse. So, yeah, in my situation, near-death experiences. Shoot. Well, it's happened a lot when driving. Asshole drivers who don't know how to use fucking turn signals. Like that's a big one for me. A lot of reckless drivers out in these streets for no fucking reason. It makes no sense. So there've been a couple of really close scrapes. In addition to that, I'm trying to think other times where this shit has happened. So this didn't happen to me per se, but at the gym that I work out at, a whole piece of the ceiling just caved in. And this isn't one of those gyms like where the ceiling is not that far off from the ground. You know, like in some places you might have like, 20 feet for some gyms. No, this is one of those big ass commercial gyms with the high ass ceilings. So I was working out at one of the machines and all I just hear, and I was wearing headphones at the time, all I heard was just stuff falling and then bum, 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 bum. I was like, the fuck was that? It's a very distinct sound that you like in the gym, you get used to hearing things like weight slamming, like doom. You know, you get used to hearing that shit. But then I heard that stuff, and then I literally turn around, and not even 20 feet away, there was all this gravel from the ceiling. It just came down. And I'm just thinking to myself, holy fuck, if I was even walking within that vicinity, there's a chance that, shit, that stuff could have fallen on my head. It's really insane, and it's always taught me to just be aware of your surroundings, know what you're doing at all times. I don't really think that makes you paranoid, but it's good to know of certain situations. Like if things are looking kind of shaky, like I've got this bad, it's not a bad rep, but people always notice this shit about me. Like whenever I go into a place, I'm always scoping it out. And people always think that, oh, he's going to do something. Yeah, that's what he's doing. It's like, no, I'm just looking for all the fucking exits. Because if shit go left, because there are some times where shit goes left, I got to know where the fucking exits are. That's just how it is. But appreciate the super chat, Gustavo Bravo. Thank you. And then we have a $5 super chat coming in from the Black Phantom Thief. That's what I like to see. That's a good avatar, by the way. When do you think the next Persona will come out? I've only played Persona 5 Royal and I need my fix. Oh, God. Yep. So you finish a Persona game. Welcome to the club, bro. You're going to have to wait a couple years for the next one. Because, yeah, them Persona games, they take their time. Atlas takes their time. Between Persona 4 and Persona 5 was about 8 years. Now, there's a lot of reasons as to why it took that long. But I like to say as a general rule of thumb when it comes to Atlas, budget at least 4 years of your time before the next entry comes out, especially when it comes to new hardware, HD technology. Like Atlas has not worked on a legit mainline Persona game for the PlayStation 4, period. They haven't. They've been working off of the PS3 this whole time, because Persona 3 was a PS3 game, and they just ported it to PS4. And Persona 5 Royal was, an updated version of Persona 5, but it's still a PS3 game. Strikers I classify a little differently, considering that's a Warriors game, different genre. But yeah, they have not made a native from the ground up Persona game for last generation consoles. So yeah, it's definitely going to take them some time to work on Persona 6. Now, when that will come, I have no idea. I would say, if you want it to be really technical, maybe, 2024. That's not too far off when you think about it. It is only 3 years, because the original Persona 5 came out in Japan in 2016. And we're about to be 5 years removed from that. So, I don't know. Maybe 2023, 2024? I'm leaning more towards 2024, given Atlas. Unless Sega has, rapidly expanded their employee count, and they have separate teams working on this and more funding. Who knows? But yeah, I would say realistically, I don't see Persona 6 coming out later than 2024. Earlier would be a really big surprise. Like, I'd be so surprised because Persona is like one of those games that people always recommend every single year. So if, let's say, for example, they teased Persona 6 at the end of the year and it's out in 2022, that feels so fucking weird. Like, we just got Persona 5. So I would say 2024. This year is also Persona's 25th anniversary. That's true. But how badass would it be if we got like a Persona 3 remaster? We got Persona 4. They ported those to Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch. And then they do a teaser for Persona 6. Because the thing about Atlus with their teasers is they'll tease a game, and that game won't come out for years. They first teased Persona 5. Well, they first teased it saying, hey, we're working on it back in 2011. And then I think they officially announced it, I want to say 2013. And they said it was going to come out in 2014. And it didn't. So, yeah, I would say definitely 2024. Anytime before that, I would be genuinely surprised. Genuinely. Hey, what's going on, Andre? Persona 6 is going to be a multi-plat. Oh, I would not be surprised. Unless PlayStation hunkers down and gets exclusivity for a year, I can see it being multi-plat. There's way too much money to be made. Or too much money to be lost making it exclusive. Because look how great the series has done on Steam with Persona 4 Golden. And that's an old game. So imagine a new game launching on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Yo, how baller would it be if Microsoft showed up with a bag and said, give us Persona 6 on Game Pass? Dude. That's an 100-hour game that they're giving away for peanuts. That'd be insane. But, and this is not an indication that it's happening, so don't go crazy with this shit, you guys. Keep an eye out on those Game Pass acquisitions. Because while they've been very much so, like, they're focusing on the bigger games now, like MLB The Show, Outriders. Don't be too surprised if some games that have never come out on Xbox come out on Xbox and they also launch on Game Pass the same day. We saw it with Octopath Traveler, just out of the blue, coming to Xbox and Game Pass. I do not think we've seen the last of that, especially out of Japan. Do not take this as an indication that something is happening. I'm just speaking. All right. Let's see. What music do you blast at the gym? Oh, I listen to everything, bro. So let me just look at my recent playlist of what I've been playing. So I listen to a lot of Japanese music. As you guys know, I'm a big anime fan, so I listen to a lot of Japanese artists. Some of them just songs from the shows, like the full versions. Other times it's the artist and I actually become a fan of theirs. Like Lisa, for example. I love Lisa, so I'm always playing her at the gym. But here, for example, here's what I was playing today. Crazy Noisy Bizarre Town, Bloody Stream, Gurend, Howling. Let's see what else. I got some NF in here, some Weekend, Lil Wayne. I got a lot of random video game music. I have a lot of Metal Gear. You know, for a person who's never really played a lot of Metal Gear, I have a lot of Metal Gear music. I have Snake Eater on here. Let's see what else we got. Black Catcher, the Hamilton soundtrack, of course. We got MF Doom. We got J. Cole, Lecrae. We have that one song by Joyner, which I like, which is Isis, him and Logic. I actually really fucking love that track. Let's see what else we got. Of course, you gotta have Nujabes. You gotta have Nujabes. Let's see. Asian Kung Fu Generation. Uberworld. Yeah, I have just a bunch of random shit, man. And that's just the stuff that I was playing now. That's not talking about like all the other stuff, man. There's a lot of shit I listen to. I listen to everything, you guys. Whether it's hip hop, whether it's trap, whether it's even some country shit I like. You know, I have very eclectic tastes. Oh god, this just in. NeoGameSpark Xbox Insider has teased Persona on Xbox Game Pass. Oh, here we fudge and go. Yeah, and I love NF, bro. I've been listening to NF since the beginning, like beginning before he blew up, man. And I'm so happy. Like his recent project, Clouds, that mixtape, fucking loved it, bro. He got Hobson on that shit. Music taste sucks, bro. I mean, hey, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I guarantee you, like, if you list your music, people be like, nah, that shit trash, bro. It is what it is, man. People got different tastes. Let's hope Persona 6 is only a PS5 game. Yeah, it has to be. Honestly, well, as much as I would love it to be next gen, like PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, I don't think they're going to sacrifice the PS4. Because, you know, Japan is always, it takes them like 2 extra years to get rid of the older systems. So unless it's like a high profile title coming from Square Enix or maybe Capcom, they definitely hold on to their older systems for a while. Okay. Chica? Okay, I'll add that. Nakey Jakey was valid. Dimwit Monkey is valid. Yeah, I'm always down for music recommendations. Cause it's cool. Like that's literally how I find the artist I listen to these days is literally through the algorithm. I'm listening to a track by, like, I don't know, for example, let's just say Lisa, and then I get another Japanese artist who might have a similar sound to that song or completely different, and it's still really good. Speaking of peanuts, I'm eating some. Yeah, man, I had some macadamia nuts earlier. Excuse me. Okay, let's see. Who's your favorite Spider-Man character? I mean, this is cliche, but it's Peter Parker. I love Peter Parker. I love his stories. Mine is Zestiria. What's one of the weaker Tales games you've played? Well, I wasn't the biggest. Well, to be fair, I liked Tales of Symphonia: Dawn of the New World. That was cool, but it's a game I've only played through once. I haven't really gone back to it. Honestly, Tales of Hearts are, but I think that has to do with the fact that I couldn't really relate to any of the characters. Like, I couldn't really get engaged in that game, and some people told me it was because of the translation. That might be the reason why, but that's one of the weaker ones. I mean, I still bought the physical copy to support Tales in the West, but that was one. Zestiria, obviously, everybody knows. Everybody knows. That's a Tales game that if you gave it to me for free on launch day, I would not finish. Because I paid money for that shit and I didn't finish it. Damn it. Shit, everyone's like, fuck Zestiria. Berseria was good, though. Berseria was good. Velvet's awesome. You almost made me think 2017 was 5 years ago. Then I realized what you meant, but it's 4 years ago. Yeah. It's about to be 5 years ago soon. Telling you, time flies. Have you seen Yasuke? I have not seen it yet. It's on my list. I really want to watch that. My brother says it's excellent. Do you know Willa Holland happened to be Tom Holland's sister? LOL, JK. What are you trying to say? All white people are related because they got the same last name? Have you played Hollow Knight? I've played through a good chunk of Hollow Knight. Never completed it. Because, I don't know, there's just a lot of shit to do in Hollow Knight. Versus all the other Metroidvania games I've played. But it's solid. It's fun. How do you guys think Stadia is doing in Japan? Microsoft is already struggling. What about Google? So I don't know how Stadia is performing in other countries. All I can speak on is how it's performing here. And I'm just going to be honest, I do not know anybody who plays Stadia. And it's one of those things where if I could see it, like, for example, Fortnite. Like, when Fortnite started popping, I didn't know anybody who played Fortnite like that. But I can still recognize that, damn, this thing is making waves. Stadia, I don't know anyone who uses it. I don't hear any buzz, any hype about Stadia. They keep shutting down studios. Like, there's no games on the service. Stadia is going to die. It's going to die very soon. And Microsoft in terms of streaming, streaming is just one of those things that's going to take a very long time for it to be commercially viable. Because right now, the way Microsoft, and I think Microsoft out of any other company is poised to come out on top because they're positioning streaming as an alternative rather than the way you game. So they're not taking away your console experience. They're not taking away your PC experience, but they're offering you a companion to that, which is streaming. And they have it bundled into their subscription service so you don't have to pay any extra like you would on a Google Stadia. But that being said, even Microsoft knows that this is going to take some time. This is definitely a gamble, and it's going to be a long game rather than a short one. So it's going to come down to literally them just adding new games onto the service, tweaking things while they take user feedback. But yeah, streaming, it's going to come a point where internet access is going to be so accessible to everybody for the most part that streaming could become a viable option to some people. I'm not saying it's going to be the preferred way people game, but like, let's just say we get to the point where streaming is, let's say we get to a point where streaming is like 90% of what you're able to pull off with dedicated consoles, like, consoles that are plugged in and you have the game running natively on the system rather than streaming it. If it gets to the point where it's 90%, I wouldn't be surprised if some people just start streaming their games rather than downloading it, especially if it's something that's really small, like a Telltale game, for example. I can see a lot of people streaming those versus downloading it because, Telltale games don't take that much user input, and provided it's not like millisecond response time that you need, you're good because the Telltale games give you a lot of breathing room. So yeah, I could see that happening. And honestly, for me, if let's say there's a game that I'm interested in trying out, but I don't want to download it because it's 100 gigs, I'll stream the first like half hour. And if it's really hitting and I like it, I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna go download this. So it's, there's ways that they can go about this. Indian, Japanese, or Mexican food. You can only choose one. Fuck. I'm gonna say Mexican food. Gotta be Mexican food, because I've dated, like, my dating history is predominantly Hispanic women, and I love the cuisine. Yeah, we would all love a second Dragon's Crown game. We all would. Let's see. Yasuke is dope. Max threw it off, but I'm down with it. Flying Lotus killed the soundtrack and Thundercat on that opener. Sheesh. Oh, man. That's what I needed to hear. Flying Lotus is always consistent, so that's going to be good. Have you listened to Gorillaz music? Yeah. I've been listening to Gorillaz for years, man. Clocks on the wall, the watches to the wrist. It's the movement. Imagine playing a game while you download / wait for your physical version to arrive, or even at work and on the go. Lots of reason to use it as a companion. Also, mobile market is ripe for xCloud. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, it's good to have it as a companion, and for people to test out some stuff. So, like, there are ways that they can go about this, and I think the fact that Microsoft, being the $1 trillion corporation that they are, they can leverage all that money to go ahead and do those cool things. $4.99 super chat coming in from John McKinney. Have you ever played Bully by Rockstar? Yes, I have played Bully by Rockstar. It's actually one of the first games I played when I was able to play. Well, not necessarily because it was the rating it was, but it was one of those games where when I was able to play Rockstar games, which, for all the Rockstar games I played, a lot of them were rated M, and then Bully was sort of in the mix of those games I wanted to try out because it was from Rockstar. And I remember downloading it on PC, and I was just like, yo, this game is fucking awesome. Why aren't there more games like this? Set in a school, we're playing as this bully and doing shit. This is awesome. And then as you play the game, you realize why. Because that shit would not fly today. Like, we can see people get decapitated. We can see fucking horse testicles in games. But Bully is just a little too controversial for them to do a second game. Especially because nowadays we talk about our feelings and stuff. But yeah, it's a dope game. If you guys haven't played Bully, definitely check it out. It's a lot of fun. Thoughts on Scarlet Nexus? It looks pretty cool. I mean, again, I don't really watch too many game trailers and things like that, unless they're like in front of my face at an E3. But it looked really dope, like from the Xbox Showcase last year. And it looks hype, man. Can't wait to play it. Oh, I saw a movie recently that had the actor who played Gary from Bully, which blew my mind. Dude, that's so weird. Like when you see, you know what really tripped me? When I actually watched Mad Men, and the main character of Ellie Noire, the main guy, Cole Phelps, his actor's in Mad Men, and it was so surreal because I thought it was like watching a deep fake before there were deep fakes. Because this guy was in this game and he looks like he does in the game, but not really because this is the actual actor. Bro, it was so fucking weird. It was so weird when you start seeing like especially mocap actors in projects outside of their mocap performances. Especially if they're like, your face is the character. Versus like Troy Baker. Like if I see Troy Baker in a movie, I can see him as Troy Baker. I'm not going to see him as Joel. But if I saw a character that was Troy Baker everything, and then I see Troy Baker in something afterwards, I'm like, what is this? Are you into trophy and achievement hunting? Not really. I mean, if there's something that's attainable within reason, I'll go for it, but I don't go out of my way and pour hours to platinum games or 100% them. That's just not me. I play the games for the story and I just move on. $6.99 super chat coming in from Colin, my boy. I finally started playing Disgaea 5 on my PC. I'm really enjoying it so far. 3 hours in. You're not kidding when you say there's so much to do. Dude, Disgaea... Okay. Disgaea is one of those games where it can be extremely intimidating if you just jump into it because they literally throw so much shit at your face at what you can do. But the shit you can pull off in that game... Like, for people who love their strategy RPGs, I always recommend checking out Disgaea. If you can get over the funny, kooky anime aesthetic, you are in for one of the deepest strategy RPGs, period. Bar none. There's so much stuff that happens in that game. Not for the faint of heart. But if you dig it and you can get into it, absolutely dive in. Disgaea 5 is a good one as well. I actually have that on Switch and PS4. And I got it on PS4 for free because there was a buy two get one deal. I didn't even open it. I think it's like the special edition too. Fuck. But then I bought it on Switch on Black Friday because I was like, I would like this on Switch more because it's a kind of game where I just play a little bit of it, put it into sleep mode, and that's what the Switch is perfect for. $2 super chat from the Black Phantom Thief. What are your predictions for The Boys Season 3? Well, I have to finish Season 2. I know, you guys, I know. But The Boys is one of those shows where I marathoned the entire first season when it came out, and I was so pissed off. I was like, where's the rest of it? I need more. And then obviously we had to wait for Season 2. And with Season 2, I wasn't going to make that mistake. I was like, no. I am going to purposely keep myself behind so I'm not caught up. And then when I finish, Season 3 will be right around the corner, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm not planning on finishing The Voice Season 2 until like maybe June. Just so I only have a little amount of time before Season 3. I hate finishing a show when it comes out and then you just gotta wait a whole... It hurts. It really hurts, you guys. Do you know Yang Ye? He's voicing the new Paladin's character and it's so weird to me. Yeah, I'm familiar with Yang Ye. I watch him every now and then. And I know he's getting into the whole voice actor thing too, which is great. You know, diversify yourself and your talents. But yeah, it is so weird when you watch somebody and then you start hearing their voice and things outside of it, especially if it's a voice that it could be somebody's natural voice. Like, let's say for example, I'm not saying this would ever happen, but let's say for example, I was in Persona 6 as the main character, and obviously the main character in Personas, they don't talk much, but when they say the freaking Persona's names, I was about to say the Shinigami. When they say the Persona's names, or they just say like basic things like, all right, like that would fucking freak me out. That would freak me out. Could you imagine if somebody like Solid Rev was a character in a game? Solid Rev's voice and his inflections and everything, bro. I couldn't take that game seriously. That'd be amazing. Yang Ye sounds like a computer speech thing. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, Fear No Hate. He kind of do. Especially when he's reading stuff off. You know? Like, Activision Blizzard is in the news again, and it's not for a good reason. Like, come on, Yanga, you can be a little more animated. But hey, he doing the voice acting shit, so evidently it's working for him. Speaking of Troy Baker, he will be Norman because he's eventually everyone. He will be you and me, Neo. Yeah, Troy Baker is eventually going to play me in a live action movie. I just know it. I just know it. It's going to happen. It's just the Troy Baker thing. Have you been watching Invincible? I have, but I am not 100% caught up. I remember when I was little, I assumed... What is this?
Sweet potato chips.
Sweet potato chips. Oh, that's fascinating. Where is it, Trader Joe's? Yeah. Nice. It's good quality. Thank you. I appreciate it. I just got some sweet potato chips from Trader Joe's. Let's see. Let's see. I remember when I was little, I assumed voice actors are like big celebrities, but now I see these guys on Twitter around my age and they feel like normal people. Yeah, Corey Gryffindor, the voice actor community is still very small and tight knit. Like, no one here is really a celebrity. Even the biggest people like Troy Baker, Laura Bailey, Jennifer Hale, Steve Bloom, like, most people out there aren't going to be like, oh my God, it's Steve Bloom. You know, like, we're going to do that because we love their work, but it's not like celebrity type status. But unfortunately, even though they're not celebrities, a lot of people act a certain way to them, which is very weird because they're just regular people at the end of the day. So are actual celebrities. They are regular people. But people have this weird, like, sycophantic cult obsession, which a lot of the voice actors actually do not like at all. You know, they don't like all the crazy, well, maybe some of them do, but they don't like all the crazy worshiping and all the weird shit. Like, oh my God, I'm your biggest fan. And can you do this and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just a little too much, but yeah, they're very chill people, man. Like, some of them are just people who you literally could be talking to them on Twitter and then, oh, they go ahead and they're a voice actor now. It's crazy. Troy Baker was used a lot from 2010 to 2014. Oh yeah, he was Joel in The Last of Us, Booker in BioShock Infinite. He was in a whole bunch of other shit too, man. He was everywhere. Like, it was Troy Baker, Nolan North, Laura Bailey, and obviously Steve Bloom. Yeah, Steve Bloom just does everything. He has a really nice voice. Honestly, I would really like to hear more Steve Bloom roles that are like Spike rather than, you know, the Wolverine types or the villainous type voices, or whenever he puts on an accent. I just like a nice, chill Steve Bloom voice. I think that'd be dope. $4.99 super chat from John McKinney. Bullied by Rockstar Games would be the victim of cancel culture if it came out today. Oh, Rockstar don't give a fuck, bro. Rockstar. One thing I love about Rockstar is they stick to their guns. They don't give a fuck what anybody thinks, man, because they've been beaten down by the industry for decades. You know, every single time they talk about banning video games, who do they point out? Rockstar Games with Grand Theft Auto, Rockstar Games with Manhunt, Rockstar Games. So Rockstar is just like, man, fuck y'all shit. We ain't gonna fuck that. That's why I love Rockstar. So if they came out with a Bully 2, I guarantee you it's probably going to be on the same level as the first one. Cameo from Sweet Potato Chip Man. Yeah. Oh, the Guillemon voice. Oh yeah, how did he do that Guillemon voice? Takato. Guillemon loves bread. I think that was Guillemon's voice, right? Guillemon Digivolve too! Growlmon! That was a really interesting fucking voice that he did. Yeah, a lot of the Rockstar people are starting to leave, which has me worried about GTA 6, but if they trained a new staff of writers, I think we might be okay. And it depends. Maybe they already did all their work, and now they're just polishing it up over the next couple of years. Hey, what's up, dude? I got food. How you doing? Ending C and near replicant obtained. Man, oh, man. Nah, Flame. Nah, don't do this to me, bro. I'm still working through it. It's heavy? It's heavy? Yeah, Troy Baker, he started to slow down because he started focusing on, honestly, the roles that are probably going to be more lucrative for him. So anything that's mocap work, anything that he can take more seriously than just, hey, put me in this game to cut a check. And one thing a lot of people don't realize when it comes to productions is Troy Baker doesn't know when any of the things he works on are coming out because of the nature of the business. There are times where he would record on projects and things don't come out for like 2 years or so. And sometimes you don't even know what you're working on because everything is done secretively with code names. And unless you're a really big fan of the franchise, you might not know what's going on in it. Like if they came out with, like let's say Final Fantasy 16. Now, if you start listing off names like Shiva, Ifrit, just things that if you're a Final Fantasy fan, you know, then yeah, you can tell it's Final Fantasy 16. But other than that, I mean, maybe if it's like a character or designer who's notable for the series, but you might not know. That's what makes it really interesting. Let's get Troy Baker in Kingdom Hearts 4. Yeah, why not? Honestly, shit, bro. Why not? I feel like he would actually bring great honestly, the best actors in the Kingdom Hearts games are not the celebrities. They're the actual legit voice actors. Haley, David Gallagher, all those guys, I mean, they're just kind of godfathered into this shit because they started. But when you actually look at like actual actors like Paul St. Peter as Xemnas, Richard Epcar as Ansem, and all those people. No, I'm not going to lie. One celebrity did a really fucking good job. Billy Zane as the original Ansem in the first Kingdom Hearts game. That dude, he did not have to go that hard with his performance for a fucking video game, but he did. This man just gave us all these fucking quotables. Darkness sprouts from within it. In the end, every heart will return to the darkness from when it came. You see, darkness is the heart's true essence. The emphasis on essence. Oh! That's why I love playing the first Kingdom Hearts game for Billy Zane. His Ansem was amazing. Master Xehanort was voiced by goddamn Rutger Hauer. And that, you know, here's the weird thing. Rutger as an actor is phenomenal. I don't think he was a great follow-up for Leonard Nimoy as Xehanort. Like, these are two different characters. These are two different Xemnases. And I remember Corey Gryffindor, you know this shit, because we were talking about this years ago. Like, when Leonard Nimoy passed away and there was time to, they were talking about, like, who are they going to recast for Xehanort? And I was like, yo, they should get Doc Brown. They should get Christopher Lloyd, because he at least sounds somewhat similar, right? But then they did Rutger Hauer, which his performance is good, but it just does not mesh with the Xehanorts, you know? Like, you have this Xehanort, then you go to a complete different Xehanort, complete different. And then you do Christopher Lloyd. I don't know. It felt weird. Yeah, Haley definitely peaked with Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora. Definitely did. Honestly, I think the writing in Kingdom Hearts 2 is the best out of the series. Kingdom Hearts 1 was a little janky. Kingdom Hearts 2 is magnum opus. And then Kingdom Hearts 3, I don't know what the fuck they did with that shit. Nobodies do have hearts. Like, Haley, that's all you could give us after 15 years? Let me not. We're going to do a hydration check. We're going to do a hydration check, you guys. We're going to do a hydration check. So everybody, go get your water, your beverage of choice, whether it's fucking apple juice, orange juice, cranberry juice. You might have some vodka. I don't even fucking know. Well, maybe not the vodka. Maybe calm down with that one. We ain't trying to chug that shit. But yeah, it's time for hydration check, you guys. Is everybody ready? Because we're just going to chug this shit and stay hydrated. Stay not thirsty. Stay fully hydrated. So everybody ready? Count of 3. 1, 2. I just know somebody's going to come in here and see me aggressively chugging water and be like, damn, nigga, what? 3. You know, it sort of sounded like I was doing, what's the term that they use? Foley? I think it's a Foley artist in production, where like who does all the sound effects and things like that. Like, I was doing those anime sound effect gulps. Like, whenever somebody eats like a whole, like, you know how they have that thing in anime, that gag where it's like, oh, we're literally gonna eat a whole turkey, and you eat it, and they just eat the whole turkey, and you have an obsessive gulp. That's what it was. That big sippy. Let's drink and get off your chair and dance. Oh, this man's about to create a brand new Persona dancing game. Straight up. Hey, would you ever try to create a comic book or video game story concept? You know, every now and then, Alan, I do get into my creative moods where I start thinking about stories and characters and world building, but then I just start thinking of all these ideas and I just don't write them down. But, excuse me. But yeah, here recently, I've just been thinking about, like, at least some type of stories. Maybe get into some creative writing. Because, man, I just be seeing the stories that are in some of these video games and anime, and I'm like, man, this is the best y'all could have done. Fucking Sunrise with Yashahime. Jesse is also the best out of celebrities. Oh, yeah. Yo, Jesse, what Jesse McCartney was able to pull off with Roxas, Ventus, that, I don't even know how, because he grew up the same as all these other people, all these other actors, not that much experience, but he gave us good performances. I don't know what it is. It's just consistent. I don't know. I like Aqua's voice actress, but when she's in other roles, she sounds way better. Yeah. Roosevelt. It's a very good reason why. A lot of the time, it's not just the actors on Kingdom Hearts and why shit sounds wooden. It actually comes down to the direction in addition to the script. You could have Meryl Streep in Kingdom Hearts. There's only so much she could do for that game, right? Just like there was only so much that all these other characters could do. Now, some characters in Kingdom Hearts admittedly do have better writing compared to others. Like, Sora just does not have any good fucking, like, no good dialogue, dude. No good dialogue. They hoeing his ass. Riku's got some good lines. Kairi, is Kairi even a character? I don't know. Yeah. David killed that shit. The writing and direction plays a big part in the performance. Yeah, that's why I'm very particular about English dubs of anime I watch these days. Because I like to see, like, okay, who worked on this? Who's the ADR director? Who did the scripting? Because depending on who the director is will dictate, not all the time, but how quality that show is going to be. And if I see, like, oh, God, Sentai Filmworks, for example. Whenever I saw Stephen Foster as the ADR director for some shows, I got really nervous. Now, he's done some good stuff in the past, but he's done a lot of really weird shit, like a lot of weird dub changes, and there was the whole controversy with the Medaka box, where he was like desyncing shit so he could give the actors creative freedom. Oh boy, it was just that was something. Yeah, the voice acting in Kingdom Hearts is not the strong point. Like, sometimes they have good shit, but a lot of the other times it just sounds so weird, like they are literally just reading a script as it's being typed, instead of just looking at the dialogue, understanding what the scene is, and going from there. And at first I thought it was maybe because it was the lip flaps, but no. They actually do animate to the English performances as well. They didn't do that for Chain of Memories, Chain of Memories on the PS2. And it was so evident because I don't know when Japan got really big into actually animating the lip flaps to the spoken dialogue, but in Chain of Memories, they went hard with that shit. And it was like literally, like, I remember there was one scene where Sora was saying something like "our very best friends," and Japanese was like "Dasetuna," like something. And in the dub, they were trying to do like "our very best friends," but it doesn't. It looks so fucking weird, you know. Carl Masick was the true dub legend. History right there, bro. You know, believe it or not, a lot of people hate Carl Masick and a lot of the older people for what they did to anime back in the day, which I can understand from a creative standpoint, an Americanization standpoint. They definitely, like, with the shows that they worked on, they took a lot of creative liberties, and in some situations, it's not even the same show. But I don't know, like, similar to the whole Raimi Spider-Man thing I was talking about, like, I still have, like, appreciation for those things. Take it easy, Flame. You have a good night, brother. Thank you for coming through the stream, man. Oh, what time is it actually right now? It's 9:15. It's about to be 9:15. Oh, I think it's time we wrap it up for the night, ladies and gentlemen. We're going on 2 hours right now, and your boy's got some video games to play tonight. Got Returnal on the docket until I die and just cry myself to sleep again, which would be no different than any other nights I cry myself to sleep. But you guys, as always, thank you so much for the bottom of my heart for you guys coming through, pulling up to the stream. Thank you guys so much for all the super chats. You guys are the freaking best. And as always, you know, continue to be excellent to one another. Continue to keep being the amazing people that y'all are. And yeah, until I see y'all on the next one, which, depending on, we might do another stream tomorrow. Maybe, possibly. We might do the Dragon Ball Q&A thing tomorrow, but it's not looking likely just with the scheduling, but I'll let you guys know. But thank you for everybody. Thank you to all the mods, Dimwit Monkey, NKDN. We had Daniel Pat come through in a little bit. You guys are the freaking best, as always. So yeah, continue to keep being, like I said, the amazing people that you are. And also, if you guys haven't, follow me on Instagram, Phantom NGS, because while Twitter is the place where I like congregate most of the time and I tweet my spicy takes, Instagram is a way that if you guys just want to fucking DM me and just talk about shit and talk about stuff, we can do that. Like me and Corey Gryffindor, we follow each other on Instagram, and he posts up all of his art and things that he's working on, and that stuff is fucking cool because I love talking with you guys and hanging with y'all and talk about this stuff. It's great, but I also like seeing what you guys get up to on the day-to-day basis, you know? And if it's something like art, I love to see that shit. Like, I have a lot of people who like making music, so every now and then they throw me some beats and I listen to it and I'm like, oh, that's pretty dope. But yeah, you know, for me to you for now. Oh god, I always get so sidetracked with these things. It's just like, end the stream, Neo. But for me to you for now, my name is NGS signing out, and like always, I will catch you guys later. Peace out, everybody. Have a good night.